Had some rain overnight. The rain has gone away. Might show up a little bit later, though. For now, it's kind of perfect football weather. 56 degrees, light winds. As mentioned, rain maybe later. Which Lewis Johnson down to the field was certainly a topic most of the week.
Absolutely. You know, Ohio State wants to get everything right for today, and the topic of cleats was a big discussion all week long. This is Ohio State's first game on grass, and it's been raining all night, and it rained into the morning. This field is a bit wet. So here's what they're talking about. So here are the two options that the players have today. First of all, we've got the molded spike, and you can see that the spikes there are kind of cleats are right built into the bottom of the shoe. Then we've got this one. And this is the screw-in, and you can see right away that the screw-in cleats are much longer than the molded, and this is the one that Ohio State's offensive coordinator Brian Hartline prefers for his players. Why? Because he was a Buckeye wide receiver, and he strongly suggested that everybody wear these because he wants them to have a great opportunity to have good lines as they're running up the field to make those cuts. Marvin Harrison Jr., I saw him in warm-ups. He has on these molded cleats. And I'd say the team is about 50-50 split. Most of the skilled players, I think, will have the screw-in cleats. Some of the others molded. We'll see what happens in this wet field. Only the 5th game for this brand-new field here at Purdue.
You know, Andrew, and those guys would be smart to listen to offensive coordinator Brian Hartline. He's a guy that played all of his home games at the shoe when they had natural grass there. So he's definitely a guy that's played in these November, October, wet, natural turf games, and guys played a lot of football. He's given great advice to these players. He just wants them to be able to go out there and be confident in the cuts they make. And he said, if you choose molded and I see you slip, you already know what I'm going to tell you.
Here we go with Jaden Fielding kicking off here on Big Ten Saturday on Peacock. It is a touchback, and Purdue is going to open things up as we are underway at Ross-Ade Stadium. Purdue's going to open up on its own 25-yard line with the quarterback, Hudson Card, who honestly, Kyle, kind of took a beating last week in that loss at Iowa, was sacked 6 times. The offensive line was an issue. They're without their key right tackle, Marcus Beaudry. Got to protect the quarterback.
You got to protect the quarterback, and the better they can keep him upright, the more confidence he's going to have in that injury. And it's something that he talked about. Throwing the football doesn't bother him, but getting tackled on his side does. So in an ideal world, we keep the quarterback upright, and he can throw the football downfield all game.
It's really his left shoulder that's bugging him. Ohio State, by the way, won the toss and deferred. And Card's got to come out of the gun with Garrett Miller, the tight end, in motion. And Maccabee with a big gain on first down. And this crowd gets loud early as Maccabee takes it to the 44 and a gain of 19 on the opening play. Josh Proctor with the tackle.
Yeah, you got to love the style by Devin Maccabee. Able to run the zone play here out the front side and pick up an explosive run on 1st and 10.
And Purdue with a little tempo here from the 44. Low snap. First pass is complete, and that's Deion Burks. 2 plays, 2 nice gains, and already the Boilermakers are across midfield.
Well, it's something they talked to us about yesterday, getting Hudson Card completions early in the game, and to no one other than Deion Burks, somebody that we've heard we'll see a lot of today, moving all over the field. I talked about making the explosive plays. He's a guy that can do it.
And that's good for a gain of 7. The Boilermakers already in Ohio State territory. You take it to Burks, you give it to Maccabee, another nice run and another Purdue first down. He's going to take it to the Buckeye 45-yard line.
This is a play that Purdue relies a lot on in the 11 personnel run game. So they got one tight end out there on the field. The tight end pulls around with the guard in the gap scheme, and there's a lot of air in that front for Devin Maccabee.
Devin Maccabee, the former walk-on, they call him Crazy Legs. He's going to get another one. No, he isn't. The fake. Card throws side on. We got another completion. TJ Sheffield. Jamie Eichenberg is going to get him, but not before he's very close. Tommy Eichenberg, beg your pardon, do another Purdue first down.
Gotta love what Hudson Card does there. His eyes are downfield. He's able to find his receiver and get another completion, get a 2nd and 1 here. The entire playbook's open to Graham Harrell here.
Miller, the tight end, comes in motion. Here's Maccabee, who lowers his shoulder, runs into steel chambers, but moves the chains.
Purdue's using tempo here, keeping this Ohio State defense off balance. see how quickly they're getting to the line of scrimmage, and they're already to go again on 1st and 10.
Maccabee goes to the sideline. Dylan Downing checks in as the running back here. We're about 2.5 minutes in. Purdue's on the move. Downing gets his first carry of the game. Couple of yards to the 31. Tackled by Michael Hall Jr.
Yeah, Purdue's able to get to the draw on 1st and 10. Giving them a couple yards. It's going to be interesting to see if they're able to stay out of the 3rd and long. So this is 2nd down is a huge down when you don't get an efficient run on 1st and 10.
Both teams talked all week about starting well, getting their quarterbacks in a rhythm early. Card fires his first incompletion there, intended for Burks. The coverage by the big defensive lineman, the All-American JT Tuimoloau.
And that's exactly what we're talking about there. Now we're in, 3rd and 8, and 3rd and 8, talking to offensive coordinator Graham Harrell yesterday, that's not where you want to live, especially playing against this Ohio State defense with the rushers that they have on the edge.
With Downing the backfield, 3rd and 8 here for Purdue. Opening drive, Ohio State 31. Hudson Card has time, lofting and firing incomplete. He wanted his tight end, Drew Bibber, ball a little high.
Yeah, he took a shot there to the big tight end on the inside fade. Again, if you get in 3rd and long, it really handcuffs you as a play caller. But for Purdue, a great first drive. I think it gave the offense some momentum. Now they got a chance at a long field goal attempt here.
Ryan Walters told us yesterday he was comfortable with Julio Macias inside the 30. This is from the 31. This would be a long for Macias. It's a 48-yard try from the near side hash. Julio Macias to put Purdue on the board early. And he hooked it wide left. So Purdue started well. Marched early into Ohio State territory. Comes away with nothing. We're scoreless early here in West Lafayette. Big Ten Saturday here in Peacock. No score early, Ohio State and Purdue. Travion Henderson was not able to go last week as the Buckeyes beat Maryland. The thought was he might be able to go this week. He went through warm-ups, had the helmet on. As you could see, no shoulder pads. Travion Henderson is out today. Kyle Rudolph, that is a big deal because the talk all week and really all season for Ryan Day's Buckeyes is how do you run the football better? They are down Henderson and Mayan Williams today.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't help. That was a guy that they thought they would get back today and give this run game a boost. But as I said at the top of the broadcast, it really comes down to this offensive line.
Kyle McCord's going to have Chip Trainum in the backfield out of the gun. He'll fake it to Trainum and throw to the outside, and Julian Fleming cannot hang on. And that is Ohio State's first play, a drop.
Yeah, assume we're going to see a lot of these quick passes on 1st and 10. We've talked about the run game ad nauseum. Those are pitch and catches that you got to complete in order to stay ahead of the sticks on 1st and 10.
I mentioned earlier both coaches talked about getting their quarterbacks in a rhythm early. McCord hit Fleming in the hands, could not hang on. And now he's under pressure on 2nd down. Flushed out, throws down the sideline. Marvin Harrison Jr. can't get that. Tried with one hand, and that's incomplete.
You could see the pressure getting to the quarterback there, and that's uncharacteristic of Marvin Harrison Jr., someone that's so elite at his position. We've heard about the preparation, the professionalism. He just kind of went out there with one hand. That's a catch that certainly a guy of his caliber expects to make.
Had 2 guys in the neighborhood. Trainum was there too out of the backfield. And now on 3rd and 10. McCord backpedaling. Harrison has this one and has the Buckeyes' first down out of bounds on the far side, 46-yard line, a gain of 15.
And exactly like you would expect an elite receiver do, he answers with an unbelievable corner route here on 3rd and 10. He gives Kyle McCord just an incredible surface, working back down to the quarterback there. That's the easiest throw the quarterback's going to get.
Working against the 5th-year senior, Cam Allen, with the coverage there. So the Buckeyes with their first down. Cade Stover, the tight end, in motion to give to Trainum. A couple of yards over the right side. And a modest gain on 1st down. Cole Brevard, the tackle.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of Chip Trainum today with the Travion Henderson injury. Again, see how long it takes them to get this run game going.
Trainum, the former linebacker, the transfer from Arizona State, the guy that had the winning touchdown in South Bend. Sorry, Kyle, 3 weeks ago.
Sure, that's not the first time I'll hear that today.
It will not. The co-host Jam will try to keep the references down, though. 2nd and 8. Out of the gun. McCord again, backpedaling, firing left sideline. Fleming fighting for it. No, it's Harrison, and he's got it. Inside the red zone to the 18-yard line, a gain of 34.
You got to like the call there by Ryan Day and the design. They've worked that out route 2 times in a row on the left side of the field. And Kyle McCord comes back and is able to deliver a double move to Marvin Harrison Jr. down the field on the out and up for a huge explosive play.
That's a nice ball there. Juggled, 34 yards. Harrison able to hang on to this one. And the Buckeyes are on the move on their opening drive. In the red zone from the 18-yard line now. Give to Trainum. Looking for room over the left side. Big hit, lowering the shoulder to Yanni Karlaftis for maybe 4.
And this is something where, yeah, this isn't going to be easy for me to watch. I've watched this enough over the last couple weeks, but, you know, Chip Trainum is a guy that comes in. They bring 12 personnel in the field here. We get 2 tight ends. We're creating an extra surface, and I think, like I said before, we're going to see a lot of Chip Trainum today, and I certainly could not see that replay again for the rest of the broadcast.
We may or may not use it again. Ball to Harrison here on 2nd down. Incomplete. Derek Rogers, the freshman corner, getting feisty.
And Derek Rogers is a guy we heard a lot about. It's probably not a surprise to most that he was a little feisty there. He's a guy that around the facility, defensive coordinator Kevin Cade, he's like, yeah, I think we're going to fight one of these days. And you see that tenacity out of him. You love it. He's covering the best wide receiver in the country. You have to have that confidence.
A 19-year-old from Orlando, Florida, against the best wide receiver in the country. 3rd and 6 for the Buckeyes. They need the 8 to keep this drive alive. McCord out of the gun. He's got 3 receivers right. Harrison's 18. Stover out there as well, the tight end. And a timeout taken by Ryan Day, his first of the game.
First charge, team timeout. Ohio State.
So we talked about both these teams and both these quarterbacks, Kyle, starting quickly. Kyle McCord bounced back quickly after Julian Fleming couldn't catch his first pass of the game with a couple of nice balls, and they're on the move. Yeah,
Kyle McCord's done well early in this game. They got a little pressure to him early there. Obviously had the drop on the first play of the game, but I think he's done a great job, and, you know, to no surprise, he's found Marvin Harrison Jr. a lot. A guy that's going to have to pick up a lot of the slack from the inability to run the football, and then certainly having Emeka Egbuka out. It's just we're going to see a lot of number 18 today, and here we are on a big 3rd and 6. It came out in a bunch formation, so see if we can get some confusion from the Purdue secondary. And as most times, when there's a timeout, you come out in a completely different formation following the timeout.
Of course, with 3 to the right, and now G. Scott, the tight end, flanked wide to the bottom of the screen. Backpedaling, McCord lofting for the end zone. Caught. That's a touchdown. Marvin Harrison Jr.
They do a great job here, bringing out 12 personnel, having G. Scott motion out wide to the right. This is one of the best red zone concepts in football, especially when you have a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. and his ability to go up and high point the football. Does an incredible job going up, getting the football on the corner route there. And that's a big play on 3rd and 6 from Kyle McCord.
It's a 14-yard touchdown for Marvin Harrison Jr., his 5th receiving touchdown of the year, but they're going to get only 6 out of it. Jaden Fielding misses the extra point wide to the left. 63 yards for Marvin Harrison Jr., capped off by that touchdown. Buckeyes on the board early, 6-0 here at Ross-Ade Stadium. It is a Big Ten Saturday on Peacock. Welcome back to West Lafayette, Indiana. It is a blackout today at Ross-Ade Stadium. What a great college environment here. as Purdue is hosting Ohio State today, the third-ranked team of the nation. The undefeated Buckeyes, who are on the board early thanks to a Marvin Harrison Jr. touchdown. The score 6-0 after the missed extra point. This crowd gets loud for the Jaden Fielding kickoff here. We're going to get a return. Devin Mockabee brings it out. Mockabee with a flag down to the backfield. Behind the 20, is going to get out to the 18-yard line. Now let's go back to the touchdown, Kyle.
Yeah, if you're an Ohio State coach, this is exactly what you want. You've got the opportunity to get your best player in Marvin Harrison Jr. one-on-one. We got the double unders out here, and he gets to work on the DB all by himself with that entire half of the field.
Holding return team number 34, 10-yard penalty, first down Purdue.
Jeff Blum is our referee today. Holding called in the kickoff, and Purdue is going to back up. Marvin Harrison Jr. again without Emeka Ibuka today, with Ohio State down 2 running backs. He is certainly the focus of the offense most weeks. He was the focus of the offense on the Buckeyes opening drive. All he did was catch 3 passes for 63 yards.
And I think something that Ryan Walters told us yesterday is, you know this guy's going to get the football. You can't stop him from getting the football, but we have to prevent the explosive plays, and we saw one there on that first drive with a 34-yard catch.
So Hudson Card led an 8-play drive to open things up for Purdue. They got into Ohio State territory, but came away with nothing after the missed field goal. Dylan Downing opens this drive with a carry and a loss as Tyleek Williams pulls him down to the backfield.
Officials timeout for player
injury on the field with another Purdue offensive lineman down. They lost right tackle Marcus Bowe last week. And another O-line injury here early. Looks like Luke Griffin, the right guard. That is an area where Purdue could ill afford to lose another player. 6-0 early. Quarter 6-0 over Purdue, but Ohio State has not always loved coming here. Actually, no one loves coming to Ross-Ade Stadium. A top 5 Ohio State team. Kyle Rudolph has lost here 4 times, 45, 60, 84, most recently 18. You played here for Notre Dame. Why is this building so difficult?
Well, it's tough, whether you're playing here at noon local time or you're playing in prime time at 7:30 at night. One of the things, you know, in talking to the Purdue staff, asking them what makes this place so tough to play, and they really talked about the community and how, you know, this place has incredibly intelligent fans. They know how to show up. They know when to make noise. They know when to be quiet. And we played here in 2009, and it took a 4th and goal touchdown with under 30 seconds left to go for us to get out of here with a win on prime time.
Ryan Day, however, 33-0 against unranked teams here. As you hear the applause from the fans here at Ross-Ade, Luke Griffin being carted to the locker room. Lewis Johnson down to the sideline. Lewis.
Landry, what I did see is that the trainers put an air cast on his lower right leg. And, of course, the team came out to wish him well, and now he's off for further examinations, but air cast on the lower right leg. Andrew?
Griffin's going to go to the locker room, and Jalen Grant is now going to play right guard as Tommy Eichenberg makes the tackle there on the Downing carry. Let's try to see what happened here. 74 is Luke Griffin, and he got rolled up on by Simon.
You just hate to see that when you're standing around the line of scrimmage. You know, there's a lot of guys in a phone booth there, and bodies flying all over the place, and you catch one on your ankle. You just hate to see it happen for a guy early in a game.
So 3rd and 8 here for Hudson Card from his own 11. Card to throw, clean pocket, flag down, fires near the 20 and dropped. Garrett Miller could not hang on. It's 4th down. And a flag on the far sideline at the 9.
We'll see what the penalty marker is, but it looks like they may have him marked down just shy of the 20 and calling it a catch.
Illegal formation, offense 5 or more in the backfield. The penalties decline, results 4th down.
All right, let's bring in Reggie Smith. Reggie, what'd you see there?
The right tackle was lined up in the backfield, which made this an easy call for the line of scrimmage official who called him. As you can see, he's about 2 yards off the line of scrimmage. Very good call.
All right, so you can't have more than 4 in the backfield. 5 in the backfield, that's the penalty. I thought Miller had dropped it. He hung on to it, but it's going to be 4th down, and Jack Ansel is going to come out to punt. The Aussie punter stands at his own 5 with Jaden Ballard back to return with a whistle again.
The ruling of the runner being short of the line to gain is under further video review.
All right, so let's go back and see if Garrett Miller made the line to gain, which is just shy of the 20. Purdue coach Ryan Walters.
It'll be interesting too here, because not only will they be able to see if he was just shy of the line of game, but if he hung on to the football as well. So they'll be able to check out both things.
All right, so the marker on the far sideline is just shy of the 20. The ball is spotted shy of the 19. So from where they put it down, clearly didn't make the marker. Question here is, where should that spot be? As it stands now, it's 4th and short. You wouldn't go for it, would you? I mean, they had the punt team out.
No, I would not. Not in this situation.
We were talking before about stealing a possession early, playing aggressively, knowing that you too, like Ohio State, are undermanned here. But if you want to shock the world, maybe be aggressive. But going for it on your own 19-yard line, probably not the cards today for Ryan Walters. We're also looking at whether or not Garrett Miller, we're told, caught that ball. Here you go.
Yeah, and oftentimes they can say that they're going to check the spot and see something else, see if he holds on to the football there. But ultimately, I think it looks like a good spot, and I think you see some movement there of the ball hitting the ground. It should be an incomplete pass. But Reggie, we'll defer to you on this. You're the expert.
Well, you absolutely nailed it. That ball clearly hits the ground and should be confirmed as an incomplete pass.
All right, so we're reviewing. Right. We're reviewing whether or not it's a first down. But upon further review, Garrett Miller clearly did not catch that football.
Correct, and that's something that they can change when they're reviewing the play as a whole. Ultimately, they said they were checking the spot, but you see that
after review,
the
ball hit the ground prior to possession. It's an incomplete pass. It results in 4th down at the 11-yard line.
All right, so regardless who was going to be 4th down, the question is it 4th and less than a yard, or is it going to be 4th and 8? And Ryan Walters is being told now that Miller didn't even catch that football, which to the naked eye from up here, and granted we are reasonably high here at Ross-Ade Stadium, I thought it hit. They called it a catch, had the punt team out, and before Ansel could get it away, they blew it dead. Ansel now is going to back up into his own end zone, and Jaden Ballard, the Ohio State returner, is going to step up just shy of midfield. So potentially great field position here for the Buckeyes as Ansel gets it away. It's a low kick, and Ballard is going to field it at the 48 and run right. Ballard didn't know where to go, and no gain on that return. But great field position here for the Buckeyes. Up 6-0 and starting their second drive at midfield. You crave with Peacock's Halloween horror. And how about the Purdue team coming out of Tiller Tuttle today with a Chucky doll of their own?
Definitely spooky season here in West Lafayette.
It is definitely spooky season. It's been spooky for the Buckeyes over the years here. Been upset most recently 2018. Trying to avoid that today. Kyle Rudolph, Andrew Siciliano, Lewis Johnson down to the sideline, and Xavier Johnson in the backfield. Not Lewis, Xavier Johnson in the backfield. Stepping into a starting role today with Emeka Ibuka down, and he's going to get the carry and get about 5 yards. Rogers on the tackle.
Yeah, and we wondered what they were going to do with all the playmakers. They're down their top 2 backs, and you see there you get a wide receiver in the backfield, hand him the football. It's an interesting way for Ryan-Ade to create some momentum in the run game, but one that is effective there on 1st and 10.
Johnson wearing that block O this year as a captain with 5 yards there. And now he is going to go in motion to the backfield. Trainum's going to get a carry. Trainum's got some room. Trainum finds a lane, picks up a first down, and takes it across the 40 to the Purdue 36 in a gain of 10. There's the run game.
There is the run game, and you see Ryan-Ade doing a lot of stuff to confuse the eyes of the Purdue defense. We had Xavier Johnson going in motion there. You see the guy running with him. You got the guard pulling, the tackle pulling around. and Chip Trainum does the rest. He just bounces it outside, and an explosive run there for the Buckeyes is what they need and they talked about all week.
And a good job by McCord getting that snap. And Carson Hinsman a little wide, brought it down with one hand. As Martell Tate checks into the game. Wide to the left, Harrison's to the right. Marvin Harrison catches. He makes a move. 30, 25. Marvin Harrison down the sideline. Dylan Feedham, the freshman, pushes him out of bounds. But for Harrison, it's his 4th catch already today.
And Marvin Harrison does a great job. One of the things Brian Hartline talked to us, like, what can this guy get better at? He's pretty much elite at everything. He talked about running after the catch, and there they get him the ball quickly in his hands, and he does the rest, making the defender miss, getting the first down.
Harrison already 4 for 77. And now Tate goes in motion, the freshman. More running room here for Trainum as he gets around the right side. Yanni Karloftis with the tackle. McCord and Harrison certainly have good chemistry. They've known each other since they were little kids. They've known each other since they played together at St. Joe's Prep in Philadelphia. They weren't necessarily a package deal. Harrison committed first to the Buckeyes, and McCord now, after waiting a couple of years behind C.J. Stroud, finally gets a chance to be the guy here and throw to his old high school teammate. Trainum got 6 yards on that one, 2nd and 4. Now from the 16, another give to Trainum. He gets maybe 2 yards to set up 3rd down. Sanusi Kane, the safety who plays up in the box a lot, is big in this Ryan Walters defense and run support with the tackle.
Yeah, it'll be interesting here on 3rd and 1. Certainly think they're in 4-down territory, so gives you the opportunity, if you want to run a hard run action and try to take a shot in the end zone, you can, or you just get downhill in a hurry. Looks like they got some big bodies out there to try to get the 1 yard for the first down.
And Devin Brown is in at quarterback. He's going to run. Devin Brown fights his way to the 5.
Something that we talked about in pregame. You see number 33 out there. You almost assume it's another running back, but it's actually Devin Brown, the quarterback, in almost a wildcat type formation. He's got Chip Trainum as the lead blocker. They're able to get 1 yard. Get the 1 yard for the first down. 4th game Devin Brown's appeared in, played against Indiana, Youngstown State, Western Kentucky. Wears the 35 as homage to Sammy Baum. And now McCord is back in. Gives to Trainum, trying to get to the outside. Cut down by Brown, but he gets all the way down to the 2. And a new set of downs. Yeah, and this is all just Chip Trainum making the decision to bounce it out to the left side. I think the play's actually designed to hit on the right side of the line of scrimmage, and he sees something and has the athleticism and the awareness to bounce it out left and get him down inside there, the 2 yard line.
Not a new set of downs. It's 2nd and goal here. Devin Brown lowering his shoulder into the end zone. Another Ohio State touchdown. This one from the number 2 quarterback, Devin Brown, on the ground.
When you're able to run the quarterback down there in the low red zone, it adds an extra blocker to it. And it certainly helps when that extra blocker is Chip Trainum. And the guy's just a monster. Former linebacker, leading the way there for the quarterback. And like I said, when you're in the low red zone, there's bodies everywhere. The running lanes are smaller. Having the opportunity to have that extra hat in the run game and allow Devin Brown just to put his head down and get in the end zone is a huge advantage for the Buckeyes in the low red zone.
A lot of conversation in the last couple of weeks about how Ohio State gets better on 3rd and short, 4th and short. Do they go with the tush push, the brotherly shove? Their answer this week is Devin Brown in short yardage. He converts to get a first down. He converts to get in the end zone. Jaden Fielding missed his first extra point. He is perfect. Straight through the uprights on his 2nd. So you see Ryan Day pump the fist. We've talked a couple of times here, Kyle, about starting well early. They did not start well last week against Maryland. Some people thought they were sleepwalking in the first half. Day was pretty fired up at halftime. This is what he needed. This is what this team needed.
Yeah, and I think it was the common message from Ryan Day and Brian Hartline and everyone that we talked to on the offensive side of the ball. They did not start fast last week, and their defense even picked them up with an offensive touchdown there, or with a defensive touchdown, excuse me, in the first half. And it was important for them coming on the road in an environment that they've not had success in. And they've started fast both in the pass game, which you knew they were going to do, especially with Marvin Harrison. But they've been very efficient and had some big runs in the run game, which has got to be very good for an Ohio State fan to see.
Absolutely. Ohio State needs that run game to get rolling with bigger goals in mind, and it is rolling here today through the end zone, and a touchback here for Purdue, who finds itself in a hole. We talked this week about how this offense with Graham Harrell calling plays can get explosives, can shock the Buckeyes, can stretch the field. Deion Burks really is that answer, especially with running back Tyrone Tracy out. But now you would think this air raid team that likes to run more than most air raid teams needs to probably put in the air a little bit.
Certainly, down 2 scores. We talked about negative plays. You get the penalty on the last kickoff return, forces them with bad field position. See what they can do here.
Card to throw on first down, lofting for Miller, who makes a nice diving catch on the 5-yard, or on the far sideline for about, 5 yards.
Yeah, great job there by the tight end, bouncing back after the drop on 3rd down. Efficiency on first down for them is huge. We talked about maybe they might not be able to run the ball as much as this Purdue offense would like to run the ball, being down 2 scores. But at the end of the day, it's one play at a time downfield, and getting 5 yards on first down is big.
Miller, after catching that, lines up in the backfield, and here is a handoff inside by Maccabee with not a lot of running with Hancock and Latham Ransom up from his safety spot to make that tackle to bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, and this Purdue offense has been really good all year on 3rd down, specifically this 3rd and medium, 3rd and 4 to 6. Graham Harrell said, I actually like 3rd and 4 to 6 better than 3rd and 1 at times. So, we'll see what they got here. They had all the receivers lined up on the left, and they motion over to the other side in a bunch formation, try to create some confusion in that Buckeye secondary.
Jaden Dixon-Veal checks in wearing 0 at wide receiver. Card to throw. Card's knocked out of the line. And it's 4th down. Tyleek Williams, big number 91, got a hand on it.
For these defensive linemen, certainly we've talked about the pressure coming off of the edge from the Ohio State Buckeyes, but it's a great job there by the big defensive tackle, Tyleek Williams, in the middle. He's pushing against a double team. He's not going to get the pocket that far. Gets his hand up and bats the ball down, forcing the 4th down punt.
Linebacker still Chambers also there, but it was Williams who got his hand on it first. And the Ohio State Buckeyes force a 3 and out as Ansel holds it for a little bit and then gets it away. Ballard's going to let it bounce and back away. And the Boilermakers will let that roll to around the 27-yard line. Ohio State up 13-0 here, 2:37 remaining. In the first quarter, Ryan Day went into his bag of tricks there, brought out Devin Brown to get in the end zone last time. We talked before about starting well. They're running the ball well. Marvin Harrison, despite the fact that Emeka Ibuka is not here today, didn't even make the trip, started off well as well. And Kyle McCord is now back on the field after Brown ended that last drive.
Yeah, and this is exactly what the Ohio State offense needed after the first play of the game, the drop from Julian Fleming. They've really responded there, 2 drives in a row.
There's offensive coordinator Brian Hartline, former NFL wide receiver, also coaches these wideouts. The play fake to Johnson under pressure, train him. 35, big collision at the 38-yard line. He gets around 8 yards. Dylan Thieneman came up and laid a big hit on Trainman. He's slow to get up.
He was. That was a big hit.
Officials timeout for player injury.
Unfortunately, it's scary when you see a player stumble like that after a big hit.
And clearly Chip Trainum is a bit woozy there and being helped to the sideline. He took a big hit, tried to get up, and then when he got to the backfield, fell down.
And this is a running back room that we started the top of the show with the bodies they're already missing.
No Travion Henderson, no Mayan Williams. Here's Trainum in between 3 Boilermakers, who is Thieneman, the safety, the freshman who came up and hit him in the chest. Allen was there. Rogers was there. Tough to watch as Trainman goes to the sideline. And Dallan Hayden, wearing 5 now, checks in at running back. And Xavier Johnson to the backfield there as well. Johnson, the wide receiver, will get his second carry of the game. And he gets a first out of the 41. But Ohio State is now dangerously thin at running back. With Trainum on the sideline, Ryan Day is now down 3 backs. So maybe Xavier Johnson gets a few more carries. I mentioned Hayden is in there. He is wearing 5. He is now to McCord's left on first down. And McCord's going to throw on the run. Incomplete in traffic intended for Johnson.
Yeah, you know, we talked about Xavier Johnson in the backfield, and there he is lining up in the slot. Dangerous throw there from Kyle McCord. Very fortunate that that one was not intercepted.
Winding down here, first quarter, 1:28 remaining. Ross-Ade Stadium, Kyle Rudolph, Andrew Siciliano, Lewis Johnson down to the sideline. Xavier Johnson, where'd that block go? As a captain, as a graduate student leader. Going to need him today, certainly, with Trainum on the sideline. And Hayden in the backfield. McCord pulls it, and he runs, and McCord falls forward. They're going to mark him at midfield, which is about a yard shy of the first down.
Excellent job there by Kyle McCord, keeping it on the zone read. Able to get 9 yards on second and long. It's so important on second and long. Just getting yourself back into a third and manageable. Certainly when you can get it to 3rd and 1, that really helps this offense overcome that play on 1st and 10.
There's Trainum on the sideline now, 3rd and 1. McCord on the keeper, and the Buckeyes are 4 for 4 today early on 3rd down. He pushes the pile forward to the Purdue 48 and a new set of downs in the final minute here of the first quarter.
Yeah, and they lined up big Caden Curry there in the backfield, and so much in the football world has been brought up about this, you know, quarterback sneak push play. You line up. Hey, it certainly helps when you have 6'2", 6'3", 260 pounds back there in the backfield to push the quarterback.
He was the up back here. McCord's going to take a shot. Wants Harrison. Incomplete at the 20. They told us yesterday that every time Marvin Harrison goes deep, make him pay the price of admission. The safety was coming over, but that ball was out of bounds.
It was, and we saw it there. We heard it yesterday. Anytime Marvin Harrison is throwing the ball down the field, Dylan Thieneman has to be there to break it up, or, as they said, make him pay the price of admission for catching the football. And you see this ball going out of bounds, but there's Dylan Thieneman flying in just in case that ball was caught.
With Alessandro on the coverage now on 2nd down. This one's up the seam. That one's caught by the big tight end, Cade Stover. Nice catch by Stover going up high to bring it down. That is a gain of 23 to the 25 as time winds down here in the
That's the end of the first quarter. Timeout of the field.
Good start by the Buckeyes. Already in the end zone twice and driving here as we are through 15 minutes in West Lafayette. It's a blackout Saturday here at Ross-Ade. Buckeyes up 2 scores early. Welcome back to Big Ten Saturday on Peacock. We are presented by Geico. We are in West Lafayette, Indiana. Ross-Ade Stadium. It is a blackout today. There is a lot of red here. However, Columbus only about a 4-hour drive away. Certainly a lot of Buckeyes fans have made the trip, Brutus included, having made the trip here with Ohio State leading early and driving, opening up the second quarter in Purdue territory, 13-0. Kyle Rudolph, Andrew Siciliano, you have Lewis Johnson down to the sideline here as well, speaking so much about the run game here and how Ohio State needs to start well early. The Buckeyes have started well early, but they are very thin at running back. Mayan Williams did not dress. Travion Henderson did not dress. And then on that last drive, Chip Trainum already going to the sideline here. He took a huge hit. Xavier Johnson's been to the backfield a little bit. Dallan Hayden, number 5, has also been to the backfield, and it's Hayden here on first down as Ohio State opens up the second quarter on the plus 25. And to give to Hayden with not a lot of room to run. What do we know about Chip Traynor there, Lewis Johnson?
Yeah, Andrew, so he was in the medical tent for about 3 to 4 minutes. They took a quick look at him. He came out without his helmet. He's been walking back and forth, as you've seen, but again, no helmet. He's having some conversations with the trainers, but I think the key is right now that he has no helmet, so we're not sure if he's coming back in or not.
Yeah, exactly. Don't want to speculate, but you saw him wobble, and then he fell to the ground, trying to get to the sideline, trying to go back to the huddle. And he is without helmet on sideline. G. Scott, the tight end, checks into the game. 12 personnel here for the Buckeyes as they're going to keep it on the ground. And Hayden has room. 20, 10. Hayden into the red zone and knocked out of bounds at the 7.
No, this was something I talked to Tony Alford, the running backs coach, this week and asked him, they're traditionally a wide zone type team, but you watch these guys on tape, they're having a lot of success with these gap scheme plays. Cade Stover does a great job collapsing the edge on the front side. You see the 2 big offensive linemen pull around there and give Dallan Hayden an incredible opportunity for an explosive run on 1st and 10.
Devin Brown checks back in. He's going to throw this time to the boundary. Dangerous throw intended for Scott with Kane on the coverage.
Yeah, we talked to Sanusi Kane yesterday. This defense is a matchup defense, and he's typically your in-the-box safety that's matched up with the tight end there. He's matched up with G. Scott. Does a good job. Broke it up essentially with his foot, but he made a good play on the ball. Was able to get, as they say, between him and his man and the ball.
Probably lucky that ball was a little low here, a little higher. Kane might have a shot at, and he had clear sailing down that sideline. Brown's going to stay in the game on 2nd and goal. And Brown's going to run right with blockers. Brown turns it upfield, dives, ball's out. Purdue says they have it, and they do.
This will be interesting here. If the ball, and once he crosses the pylon, the plane of the goal line, the play is over. It doesn't matter if it bounced out.
The result of the play is a fumble recovered by a defense for a touchback. 1st down, Purdue.
That might be the break Ryan Walters needed, but did the ball come out before or after Devin Brown got to the goal line?
Ooh,
that ball's out
early. That's a
that ball's
touchback.
out.
Definitely the break that Purdue needed. We're going to say coming to start the 2nd quarter, they had to hold him to 3, or if they could, force a turnover, and they're able to force a turnover there, get the touchback in the end zone.
Give credit to Markevius Brown for getting a shoulder on that football right there. And Brown, who had scored earlier, tried to get into the end zone a 2nd time and lost the ball. And it is Purdue football now, getting a break. Hudson Card back on offense, down 13-0. He's on 20-yard line. Gives to Maccabi. Not a lot of room to run. Maybe a yard over the right side. Eichenberg with the tackle.
Tommy Eichenberg's played a ton of football in the Big Ten. Captain of this defense. Not a whole lot fools this guy, and you see him there just reading the keys perfectly, just essentially standing and waiting in the hole there to make the tackle.
Eichenberg came back for another season, graduate student. Middle of that defense here. Card nowhere to go. Pivots, Card under pressure and goes down. He was sacked 6 times a week ago. Here's the first one today for Hudson Card as Tyleik Williams and Ty Hamilton were in the backfield, a loss of 5.
Yeah, something I think we saw a little bit on film last week, coming off of that SC joint injury. Don't want to get hit. You don't want somebody landing on you, maybe playing a little hesitant. He just goes down there and takes the sack instead of trying to force something.
And it brings up a 3rd and 13 with the Ohio State backers, Eichenberg and Simon, showing blitz. 5 on the play clock now. Card calls for it. Gets it. Looks right. Fires right. That's complete. Jaden Dixonville with Denzel Burke on the tackle, well short of the marker. And Ohio State, after the giveaway on the goal line, forces a 3-and-out.
Yeah, Ohio State defense responds big time there, forcing the 3-and-out, being able to put some pressure on the quarterback there, forcing the 3rd and long, and essentially saying, you can throw the ball in front of us, we're going to rally and make the tackle. Yeah, we've asked if they can steal a possession. I don't know that the -25 is a spot that you try to steal a possession either, but you never know. In a game like this, it might be something you have to do if you can't move the football.
In other words, keep your eye open for the fake. Ansel hesitates. Not going to happen. Gets it away. Low kick. Ballard waits, runs out of the way, and Purdue will let it roll. Wave on that football, try to get a little more air. 27-yard line is where Ohio State comes back with the football after a 40. Here in West Lafayette, Ohio State with the lead and back with the football, up 13-0, 11:29 remaining here in the second quarter. You're watching Big Ten Saturday on Peacock. Kyle Rudolph, Andrew Siciliano, Lewis Johnson down to the sideline. Ryan Day looking at his play sheet with Kyle McCord back on the field. He has worked in Devin Brown in the run game today. Brown had a touchdown but fumbled to end Ohio State's last possession as he was going in. McCord comes back and goes right to the air. And Marvin Harrison Jr. has another one, good for around 8, knocked out by Brown on the far sideline. Ohio State today, injuries is and are the story here.
They are, and that's why we're seeing a lot of Marvin Harrison Jr. on 1st and 10. Again, I don't think people realize just how important that is. He sticks his foot in the ground at 10 yards, and as they say in the football world, he comes back down negative. He's working back towards the quarterback. It's an incredibly friendly angle for the quarterback to throw the football.
That was his 5th catch of the day, good for 85 yards. Dallan Hayden now good for a 1st down, running right. Karlaftis with the tackle there. He gets to the 42-yard line. Why is Dallan Hayden getting so much run here after Ryan Day spoke this week of a potential red shirt? It's because the Buckeyes are banged up. There's Chip Train up at the sideline. As Lewis reported earlier, they had taken his helmet. He took a huge hit on the last drive. Travion Henderson was listed as questionable, thought he might go, made the trip, but did not suit up today. Throwing the fact that Mayan Williams is down, Emeka Ibuka is down. This is a very different looking Ohio State offense today. McCord to throw. Stover has another one. Stover into Purdue territory across the 45-yard line. Scorton with the coverage and tackle.
As a tight end, it's been a ton of fun for me watching Cade Stover on tape through the first part of this season. You look at him through 5 games and what he's done for this Ohio State offense. You hear it all the time from Ryan Day. He creates a run-pass conflict. You don't know that it's going to be a pass play if he's on the field. You don't know if it's going to be a run play. There they go with the hard run action and hit him across the middle.
Cade Stover with that catch. And now G. Scott wearing 88, another tight end into the game. Xavier Johnson with the carry from his wide receiver spot. Johnson gets good yardage there, maybe close to 9 there for the Buckeyes to get to the 36-yard line with Scorton and Anderson on the tackle.
Certainly shows improvement in your run game. If you've got a wide receiver taking a handoff on 1st and 10, you're able to get 9 yards to create a 2nd and 1, and it's something that we've seen a lot out of Xavier Johnson since these running back injuries have occurred. Obviously, you talked about Chip Trainum leaving the game. I think we're going to see a lot of Xavier Johnson in the backfield.
His 3rd carry of the day. Now a deep drop. McCord takes a shot downfield while he takes a shot in the backfield. Incomplete, intended for Fleming with Rogers, the defensive back with the pressure.
Yeah, I think that's an incredible job there by Ryan Walters, down at the pressure. You know, on 2nd and 1, just across midfield, there's such a highly likely chance that you're going to get a shot out of the offense, and that's exactly what Ohio State does. They dial up the max pressure, 2-man shot down the field. They're able to bring pressure. It's something he talked about, trying to disguise corner pressures so it's not easy for the quarterback to see him.
It's 3rd and short. Crowd gets loud. It's G. Scott in motion, the tight end. The give to Hayden. And he lowers his shoulder, and he's going to get the 1 yard and a couple of more as well. 1st down, Buckeyes. Ohio State now 5 for 5 on 3rd down to keep this drive alive. And they are already, Kyle, over 100 yards on the ground today. Now 103 rushing.
Yeah, and that's what affords Ohio State the opportunity on 2nd 1 to take a shot downfield, knowing that you can come back on 3rd and 1. You've established the confidence in your run game, knowing that we can turn around and hand it off and get that 1 yard and get a new set of downs.
See what they do here on 1st down. Johnson in motion. A little pitch goes to Hayden. He has some room, finds a lane, breaks the tackle, gets to the 20. Nice run by Hayden. Allen with the tackle. Another first down for the Buckeyes. Gain of 14.
Yeah, I love the design there on the toss play. You get the wide receiver blocking down, the opportunity to just pitch the ball to the running back, allow Dallan Hayden to get the ball in space. You got to give this kid credit. You know, somebody that, you know, we've heard the Ryan-Day wants him to redshirt, but yet here's a guy who prepared all week to go out and play the game, and he's showing that he prepared in practice with the way he's playing.
That's Cade in motion. The freshman checks in wearing 17. Another pitch play, this time to Johnson. He gets another carry. He's got room. Johnson zigging and zagging and getting down to the 4-yard line.
Something that you always talk about when you talk about an Ohio State offense is a stable of running backs, and certainly they have a stable of running backs, but right now it's a wide receiver in Xavier Johnson that's playing a ton at the running back position. Again, another toss play. They get two big offensive linemen out there on the edge, and they're able to pick up 15 yards there on a huge run.
Running behind, big 6'6" right tackle Josh Fryer, weighing 313 and moving well. And now Brown is going to check back in. Brown wearing 33. Yes, he is a quarterback. Brown's going to run. Carries that ball in his left hand. Holds onto it, but doesn't get much. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
You see Devin Brown there as he starts to get around a little contact. He puts two hands on the football. He's not going to fumble it again down there in the red zone and cost this offense points.
And now Brown goes back to the sideline, and McCord checks back in. 6.5 to go here, second quarter. Buckeyes up 13-0. Buckeyes were threatened and got down to the goal line before that Brown fumble on their last possession. Will work out of the gun here on 2nd and goal, but not before a timeout is called.
Second team charged timeout, Ohio State. This is the 32nd timeout.
Right, a 30-second timeout here for Ryan-Day. Want to make sure you get this one right. Granted, they got it right last time. Brown just couldn't hang on to the football. 6:14 remaining as we see Ohio State here dominating the yardage, dominating the time of possession, and so far dominating the scoreboard. Over 100 yards, 132 already after the 62 yards last week. Now, granted, they won. They beat Maryland far better in the second half than in the first, but those 62 yards on the ground were the fewest for a Buckeye offense in over a decade. Many people have said, Kyle, this kind of feels like a Jim Tressel team. A lead with the defense team, run the football. They have the explosive players on offense. Frankly, today, a lot of those explosive players are injured, but win any way you can, and today is with defense and a ground game.
It is, and something that I've mentioned a couple times is, you know, it doesn't matter who the back is. It's all on the offensive line. You're seeing this offensive line giving these guys room to run.
Henderson watching. Harrison going motion. McCord rolling out, looking that way. Now directing traffic. Wants Marvin. Harrison. And another touchdown. He's been to the end zone twice. The Buckeyes have now been to the end zone 3 times, and they extend to a 19-0 lead.
Yeah, and they're able to just get Kyle McCord outside the pocket here, collapsing the right side down. Getting the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. on the edge.
Crowd just made some noise. Let's take a second look.
See if he holds on to it.
The ruling of a touchdown in the previous play is under further video review.
Did he have it? I don't think he did. I think he bobbled that football. We're going to get a better look from this angle.
Certainly looks like that left hand comes down on the bobble, out of bounds.
Yeah, that's not a touchdown. I think that's coming back. Thieneman had the coverage. McCord did a great job directing traffic there, pointing at Harrison through to the sideline, but Reggie Smith, our officiating analyst here, Reggie, I don't think he held on.
And no, that's what they're going to take a look at. As we can see initially, he does get his left foot in bounds. However, it's whether he has that ball controlled that's going to be what the instant replay official is going to look at and make a determination. But like you guys, I believe he juggles that ball whenever he's going to the ground. This should be reversed to an incomplete pass.
Yeah, and it looks like the ball's still moving as that left hand touches the ground. Certainly if he catches it right away, he's got the foot down and everything is good, but it's the ball still moving while the left hand already touched out of bounds.
Clearly he does not pin that football, does not secure that football before not only his left hand, but his hip as well.
After review, the receiver touched the ground out of bounds before possessing the ball. It's an incomplete pass. It'll be third down.
Jeff Blum is our referee today. Take the touchdown off the board. So now third down with 6:07 remaining here in the second quarter.
As we talked about on the last possession, Purdue's got to hold him to 3 here.
Crowd's getting loud. You hear the locomotive here on a blackout Saturday. From the 4, 3rd and goal. McCord, tall in the pocket, throws into the end zone in traffic. That's caught. That's a touchdown. That's Cade Stover.
I just talked about Cade Stover earlier on this drive, and he does such a good job working on his route, finding the soft spot in the zone coverage. That's what tight ends do. It's a big body guy down there in the low red zone. He's able to find the soft spot. Got to give Kyle McCord credit. He delivered the ball right on time, hit him right in the middle of that big 8 on his jersey.
And for Stover, his second touchdown catch of the year. Much like a week ago, McCord had a touchdown wiped off on penalty, went back to the end zone, threw a touchdown on the very next play. Here, lost a touchdown when Marvin Harrison was ruled to have not held on to that football, juggling it on the sideline. One play later, comes back and in traffic, hits Stover. Great catch. And the Buckeyes are up. Great catch by Cade Stover in traffic. And the Buckeyes are in the end zone for the third time today. 6:02 remaining as the DJ plays music and the blackout crowd here gets loud at Ross-Ade. Not a lot of cheer for them today. However, as Ryan Day's team, Kyle Rudolph, has gotten the start they talked about all week, and frankly, a start they had talked about all year that they needed.
Yeah, and this is exactly what this Ohio State team will need as they come down the stretch here in the Big Ten. Just in a balanced attack, 21 rushes, 17 passes, and that run game is starting to come alive.
With Penn State looming next week, fielding with a short kickoff, Maccabee takes it at the 1. Maccabee running right and cut down. Nice tackle, Jermaine Matthews there on the coverage for Ohio State. Purdue offense first drive, 44 yards, 3 first downs. Came away with nothing on the missed field goal by Macias. Since then, 3 and out, 3 and out, and 3 and out. See if Hudson Card can get something going here from the 20. With Dylan Dowding, 22, in the backfield. Card slings it over the middle. Garrett Miller, his trusty tight end, back from an injury. Just about 2 years of football. Sonny Styles on the tackle there. Gain of 5 to open up this drive.
Yeah, and Garrett Miller is a guy that Hudson Card is extremely excited to have back from injury. A guy that he thinks he can really rely on. You know, plays like that, getting 5 yards on 1st and 10. It's going to help these guys get back on track.
Missed all of 2022 with an ACL. It's Elijah Canyon, the big Auburn transfer, catching that one to bring up 3rd and short. 3rd and about a yard. Burke with the tackle.
Yeah, no, you mentioned Elijah Canyon, the Auburn transfer, 6'4", 220 pounds. That's a massive target for Hudson Card. Look for him to be somebody that gets more involved as they have to stretch the field vertically in the pass game.
They too are thin at wide receiver today. Downing with the carry on 3rd and short, and he's going to pick up a first down. Gives this crowd something to cheer about. And they move the chains out to the 33. Eichenberg and Simon, the 2 linebackers there with the tackle.
And just like getting off to a fast start to start the game, you know, sometimes when you're going through a lull and it's 3 and out, you just need to get that first.
3 to the wide side here on first down. Miller is in motion. Card, time to throw. Now the pocket collapse. Spins left, spins right, and now throws wildly back over Miller's head and out of bounds, incomplete.
You can see a little bit of that hesitancy in the pocket there. Somebody that offensive coordinator Graham Harrell told us his legs and his athleticism are something that he uses really, really well when healthy. And we saw it a little bit last week coming off that injury from the Illinois game. You know, maybe just not trusting him to the full extent so far here today.
Caden Curry, who we've seen as an up back on offense there with pressure. Purdue picked up the blitz from Steele Chambers, but still the pressure got there. And Card had to throw it away on first down. Now he's taking a sack. It's Jack Sawyer who rips him down to the 25. Loss of 7.
Yeah, so much is talked about JT on the other side, and you got Jack Sawyer, who's a guy that we're able to talk to this week, says he just loves playing with JT Tuimoiolo, and it's just when you have both of these guys that can rush the passer, this Ohio State defense doesn't bring as much pressure as you're accustomed to seeing, and they can do that because you have guys like Jack Sawyer that can rush the passer, just bring him forward.
And Sawyer beat Ben Farrell, who's playing right tackle today with Marcus Bowe, injured last week at Iowa, out for the season. So a banged up Purdue offensive line. Now trying to protect on 3rd and 17. Sidearm, slinging it, knocked down, incomplete at the line. And it's 4th down. Tyleik Williams, sorry, Kyle got his hand on another one.
Absolutely, Tyleik Williams again, just, you know, that's these big interior defensive linemen. We talked about it before the last time he batted a ball down. When they're not able to compress that pocket, you just get your hands up, make it really tough on the quarterback. And, you know, Hudson Card is a tall quarterback, still not able to get the ball over the big defensive lineman.
3:38 remaining here, the second quarter. Ansel to boot it away after Buckeyes force another 3 and out. It's a low wobbler, bounces on the near side 40 and bounces out of bounds. So the Buckeyes are going to get good field position, and they have time. 3:31 and 1 timeout, up 20-0. The offense has done its job. The defense, Tyleik Williams, definitely doing its job.
And back at Purdue, and as they struggle on offense, here's one reason why the guy that they're missing. This is their right guard, Luke Griffin, who went off the field earlier on a cart. As you can see, he's got a boot on his right ankle and done for the day.
All right, Lewis, thank you. Hate to see it there. Luke Griffin already banged up. The right side of that offensive line. Mentioned Marcus Bowe is out. That means Jalen Grant's going to be the right guard when Purdue is the Buckeyes back on the field, and McCord's going to throw on first down. How about the play that Fleming makes, sliding, and if they can give him the catch, there's a flag in the backfield. The ruling is Fleming got it, sliding at the plus 45, but back in the offensive backfield, Greg Blum is figuring out this flag. Initially a gain of 15.
Holding, offense number 71, 10-yard penalty, first down.
All right, that's on Josh Simmons, the left tackle and the transfer from San Diego State. So Ohio State starts this drive by backing up. That's a takedown.
Yeah, you're not going to get away with that one. You know, there's certain things that these officials look for that are almost automatic. And when you got your hands outside the framework and you pull them down, it's going to be a hold every time.
He ripped Nick Scorton to the ground after 10 penalties last week. That is the Buckeyes' first today, so they've cleaned that up. But it's going to back them up to the 30 and set up 1st and 20. Scott's in motion. Hayden is in the backfield. Here's McCord with time. Marvin Harrison Jr. could not hang on. Rogers has been with them all the way. Rogers had the coverage there again.
This is another really, really good route from Marvin Harrison Jr., but, you know, you have to give Derek Rogers the credit. Just really never gives up on the play. He's kind of pestering Marvin Harrison Jr. there the whole time, and, you know, timing was just off there. But, again, you got to give Derek Rogers credit, just pestering him, making it difficult on him to break up the pass there.
Harrison got his head around. Ball was right on him. He's caught 5 for 85 today. Could not hang on to that one. On 2nd and 20, out of the pistol. McCord, free runner, spins away from Rogers. Now throws it deep. Wants Johnson. And he can't hang on at the 30.
It's a great job by Kyle McCord. We talked earlier, he got hit on the shot. He didn't see Derek Rogers the first time he blitzed from his corner position. He saw him there. He was able to escape the pressure and deliver a ball downfield. Xavier Johnson just wasn't able to haul it in with one hand. Great job avoiding the pressure and at least giving Xavier Johnson a chance there on a 50-50 ball downfield.
Heck of a play there. Heck of a play by McCord to spin away from the DB coming unblocked and to get that ball off downfield. But now facing a 3rd and long, a 3rd and 20. And a stoppage.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
What do you have in your playbook, Kyle, for 3rd and a quarter of the field?
You have a whole lot more when you're up 20-0. You know, certainly 3rd and 25. You're going to want to run something. It's almost like you cut your losses, you hand the ball off to the running back. If he can spring a big run, great. But when you're up 20-0 and you got Marvin Harrison Jr., why wouldn't you take a shot to him?
Ryan Day was penalized last week for losing his cool on the sideline, losing his cool there, and on 3rd and 25, he is just going to run with Xavier Johnson, the wide receiver, getting his 5th carry. Karlaftis with the tackle, and instead of trying to take a shot, they just concede. And Day has words for his quarterback after that delay on 3rd down. Lip readers beware. That was on the delay. The get-back coach is getting him back. Now Mirko back to punt. This time with some pressure, gets it away. Fair catch called on the 30-yard line by Sheffield. 2:02 remaining. Purdue's got a shot here to get something on the board late in the second. Bringing you this one from West Lafayette with Ohio State, number 3 in the nation. Getting out to the early lead here. 2:02 remaining, second quarter. Buckeyes on top of the Boilermakers, 20-0. Purdue's last 4 drives have ended in punts. Can they get something going here before the break? They're going to start this drive on the ground with Devin Mockabee getting around 5 yards to take us now inside of 2 minutes remaining. Tommy Eichenberg there on the tackle. Purdue's going to go hurry up a little tempo.
So as we get under 2 minutes, they're going to have to go quicker here, getting into that 2-minute offense.
Kyle with 3 timeouts remaining. Buckeyes bring the pressure. They get it away, block it up well, and hit the slant to get a 1st down. That's Deion Burks to the 44.
You have to think if Purdue has a chance of getting back in this game, Deion Burks is going to be a guy that plays a huge part. It's one of the guys on the offense that can make explosive plays in the pass game, even off of just those short slant routes.
Inside of 2 minutes, they stop the clock to reset the chains, then start it again, and now Card. Look at him go. Hudson Card fighting through injuries, finding a lane, and getting a 1st down to the 43 and stopping the clock at 1:18. It's a gain of 13.
And that's some of the Hudson Card that we're accustomed to seeing prior to the shoulder injury. Guy that has incredible athleticism. Everybody runs in coverage. He just tucks it, runs, able to get an explosive play on the ground using his legs.
Maybe didn't run as much as he could have last week against Iowa because he was so banged up. Gets a 1st down there, and now Mockabee here gets another one down the far sideline. They call him crazy legs. They're going everywhere.
Devin Mockabee does a great job here, almost peeking into the C-gap and then bouncing it on the outside. Just a great job setting up his backs. If he immediately bursts to the edge, it's hard for those offensive linemen to stretch those blocks. They call, I love it, the squirrely running style, as they said. Devin Mockabee's given this offense life on this drive.
He gets 21 to the 22. They call him the mechanic. Mockabee picks up a block, and now Carr down the sideline. Once Burks, incomplete. Davison Igbinosun, great job. Didn't turn around, but knocked that ball away.
Yeah, it's an excellent jog by Igbinosun there. These defensive backs are taught, if they can't see the football, if their head's turned, you're playing through that wide receiver's hands. So you see there, the receiver's hands go up. He's almost trying to reach directly through to punch that football out, and unfortunately Burns couldn't hold on to it.
And here's Maccabee inside the 5 and down to the goal line.
I just can't help. Every time I see this guy run the football, the word squirrely comes into mind, as Graham Harrell talked about his style yesterday. But just a huge run there, getting the ball just inside the 1-yard line.
They're going to spot him down on the 1 with the clock winding now. Under 50 seconds to go. Purdue 3 timeouts. Ohio State with 1. Drew Bibber checks in, tight end. 1 of 3 to the left. Maccabee in the backfield. Maccabee, nowhere to go.
And they're able to use some of this clock as they have all 3 timeouts. Certainly would like to get going a little bit quicker in there. You know, Ryan Walters uses the timeout, but you still have 2 downs
First
in your
charge
timeouts.
team timeout, Purdue. 30-second timeout. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 23 seconds.
So they're going to put 2 more seconds on the clock from 21 to 23. 21 is what Maccabee has done twice on this drive. 2 21-yard runs. Jordan Hancock saved a touchdown there.
Yeah, and there are times where as an offensive coordinator you get into this 2-minute mode and the defense almost falls asleep. They're expecting pass. Maybe on 1st and 10 you'll spring a run as they did to start the drive. But then when you spring a run and they're not expecting it, you have opportunities with a ton of air in the defense for a gash run like they had there.
You see Michael Hall, the defensive lineman there for the Buckeyes, pretty fired up there. Larry Johnson, their defensive line coach, talking to Ryan Day. That D-line forced Maccabee back a yard, so they're going to spot this on the 2. Walters still does have 2 timeouts remaining, now 23 on the clock. Card out of the gun. Now he goes in motion. Maccabee's going to take the snap. Can he get to the edge? Cuts it inside. Flag down to the backfield. And he's going to lose a couple of yards. Cody Simon up for the tackle. And Purdue is going to back up.
So it looks like we're going to have a holding here. And, you know, one of the cardinal sins in the red zone, our penalties can't get backed up.
Offense number 88. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
The veteran tight end, the
Second
fifth-year
team
senior.
charge timeout, Purdue. This is a 30-second
Miller
timeout.
Called for the hold, and Purdue is going to take a timeout here, charged with its 2nd timeout.
Well, and we talked about it on the other side with Ohio State using Devin Brown to run the football and gaining an extra blocker.
Number 6,
well, when you
number
direct snap to the
75
running
Purdue
back.
lost his helmet during the play, but the timeout allows him to return immediately.
So Jalen Grant, the right guard, lost his helmet.
You lose that extra blocker when you snap the ball directly to the running back. We saw Hudson Card go in motion, and it's a different way to get to a Wildcat run, but you essentially lose the advantage that you have down there in the low red zone.
And Miller was called for the hold there on Jack Sawyer. Hey, coming up on the Xfinity 10G Network halftime report, Ahmed Fareed, Joshua Perry, Michael Robinson, and Matt Castle will recap this one here at Ross-Ade. They got 4 top 4 teams in the country, all in action. Stanford's massive comeback against Colorado late last night. Went to bed, that game was 14-0. Woke up, found out Stanford had a fantastic comeback. And of course, preview the big one tonight here in South Bend. 2nd and goal now, backed up after the hold on the 12. 18 seconds on the clock. That's Burks in motion to the right. And now Ohio State calls
team charge
timeout.
timeout, Ohio State. 30-second timeout.
Ryan Day wants to talk it over defensively. You can't take these timeouts to the locker room. Why not get set? After Purdue mixed it up a little bit and sent the quarterback in motion and went direct snap there to Maccabee.
Yeah, and for Purdue, you know, you get backed up. It looks like they're just Purdue had some confusion. You see Ohio State, they're trying to get lined up. And honestly, at this point, it's such a big possession here before the half. Ohio State will get the ball coming right back out. Ryan Day just said, let's call timeout. Let's talk about it. Get everybody lined up so we have the best chance to have success on this big play.
Purdue needs a little momentum here. Crowd's getting into it. Driving down the field, trying to put points on the board, preferably in the end zone for Ryan Walters before the break, getting shut out here 20-0 against the number 3 team of the nation. 3 receivers to the right for Hudson Card. Maccabee is his back. Card steps up. Will he run? Eyes downfield. Throws back in the end zone. Incomplete. Wanted Jaden Dixon-Veal. The crowd wanted a flag, and they're not going to get it.
Yeah, that's just a great job there by Denzel Burke. Oftentimes when the quarterback gets out of the pocket, it's hard to cover for that long, especially down in the red zone. Does an unbelievable job staying with Jaden Dixon-Veal there and making a play on the ball, able to break up that big second down there.
Put it in his hands. He could not hang on, and Burke, good coverage to bring up 3rd and 12 with 11 seconds to go. Burks goes in motion to the top of the screen. Card under pressure, going down. JTT and Jack converge at the quarterback.
And we talked about Tui Moalau there earlier.
3rd and
Jack
final
Sawyer.
charge timeout, Purdue, 30-second timeout.
They just talked about how much they love playing together, and they almost feed off one another. And they met at the quarterback there for a big sack, making this a little bit tougher field goal before the half.
It's a loss of 10. And on 3rd down, the 2 Ohio State defensive ends. The stalwarts there on that front 7 get to the quarterback with a huge loss that's going to keep Purdue out of the end zone.
And you know that feels good. JT talked about last week how big it was finally getting that first sack. Sacks come in bunches, and both the defensive ends there met at the quarterback, forcing a longer field goal attempt here before the half.
Macias missed earlier from 48. His career long is 40. This is going to be from 39 with 6 seconds remaining here in the second quarter to put the Boilermakers on the board here and avoid the first half shutout. Left upright, no good. Macias has missed 2 today.
And that's why that sack is just so big, Andrew. You get 10 yards further back on the field goal. Essentially went from being 1st and goal inside the 1-yard line to penalties pushing you back. The second Cardinals sin in the red zone are sacks, and it dropped them out of field goal. Easy field goal range.
Ben Freehill still injured. Julio Macias has done the kicking duties. He missed wide left in the first quarter. Here to end the second quarter. Got that right upright. Sometimes you get the lucky bounce and it comes down over the crossbar. It did not this time. And Ryan Day, after a bad first half a week ago against Maryland, gets a great first half here today. Takes a knee and heads to the locker room up 20-0. Kyle McCord, nice first half without some key pieces offensively here. They get the ground game going despite the turnover in the end zone. The defense steps up. A couple of missed field goals, and they get the 20-0 first half shutout. Down to Lewis Johnson.
All right, Ryan, what was it like to see your offense rolling early and scoring early as well?
Well, we got a good mix of run and pass there. I think we ran for over 100 yards in the first half.
Right.
Obviously, I think of the things that we could do better. We fumbled on the 1-yard line there, but I think we're playing hard, we're playing physical. Great job by the defense there to get that stand. The ball's on a 1 or 2 yard line to hold them all the way back, and then they missed the field goal. So we got to play 4 quarters here, but started off much better than we have in the past.
Do you have an update on your running back, Trainum, who took that hard hit? We saw him on the sideline without a helmet. We haven't seen him back yet.
Yeah, we're going to evaluate him right now at halftime. I know he was out until at least halftime, so I'll get some information when I get in there.
All right, thanks very much.
Oh, you got it.
Andrew?
All right, Lewis, thank you. Halftime here at Ross-Ade Stadium, 20-0. Buckeyes shutting out the Boilermakers. The Xfinity 10G Network halftime report coming up after this.
Yeah. Brought to you by Geico.
I'm on a mission now. No, you can't stop me now. I keep it coming now. No, you can't stop me now. I'm on a mission now. I'm on a mission now. I'm gonna crank it loud. They keep it coming now. No, you can't stop me now.
It's easy to Geico.
I'm on a mission now.
All right, back at Ross-Ade Stadium, West Lafayette, the Buckeyes with a big lead. The shutout in the first half, 20-0. over the Purdue Boilermakers, and they do so by finally getting the ground game going. Kyle Rudolph, Lewis Johnson down to the field. My name is Andrew Siciliano. These Purdue fans in the rain, making the most of their halftime, but their team on the field hoping for an upset today has not been able to stop the Buckeye ground game, despite the fact that Ohio State lost Chip Trainum in the first half. Kyle, Mayan Williams and Travion Henderson did not dress. They've turned to Dallan Hayden. They've turned to the quarterback, Devin Brown. They've turned to Xavier Johnson, the wide receiver, as well. Yeah,
their top 3 backs are down. We talked about possibly Travion Henderson being the one to breathe life into this run game, and well, it looks like they got life from a few unexpected players here on the offense. You mentioned Devin Brown, quarterback, Xavier Johnson, wide receiver, and then Dallan Hayden has stepped up in this running back room, a running back room that is just full of incredible players. You never know when your opportunity is going to be called as a player, and he's taken advantage of it so far in this first half.
I mean, Ryan Day this week spoke of Hayden potentially redshirting, said that was the plan. He could still do that, but he's getting a lot of work today. As is Xavier Johnson, already has 5 carries on the day. Came into the day with only 4, so he's past that. He brings the kickoff back across the 30. Lewis Johnson down to the field now in the rain. Lewis?
Yeah, the rain is starting to fall here just before halftime. So coming out of the locker room, I was talking with Purdue's Ryan Walters about his offense, and he said they've got to figure out a way to try and get the offense rolling here. And when they get the ball, they've got to have some completed drives when they're executing and trying to get their big plays off. Speaking of that, he said it's Ohio State who seems to be making all the plays, executing with explosive after explosive. Somehow their defense has to slow that down, and here's their first opportunity.
Absolutely, and Ryan Walters has to hate the fact that his team opened the game with a good drive, missed a field goal. His game closed the first half with a good drive, and again, missed a field goal. The Buckeyes open this half with a completion to Julian Fleming for close to a first down, giving him around 9. Markevius Brown with the tackle there on the sideline. Ohio State, a couple of touchdowns early. Starting well was a huge emphasis this week.
Well, they start the second half exactly like they start the first half with an out route to Julian Fleming. Is able to catch it here to bring up a short 2nd and 1.
Could not catch it to open up the game. And now McCord with a little trickery hits Johnson on the rollout. Xavier Johnson breaks a tackle. And Xavier Johnson, who is stepping into the big shoes today of the Mecca of Buka with 21 yards into Purdue territory. Dylan Thieneman with the tackle.
Yeah, and Xavier Johnson just does a great job here. He kind of remains, in the old option verbiage in pitch phase. And you got to give Kyle McCord credit because he just is a playmaker out there. He's kind of a shortstop distributing the baseball. He sees it, delivers the ball to Xavier Johnson for the explosive play.
Yeah, now G. Scott, the tight end, former wide receiver, lines up wide right in motion as a wide receiver. And McCord takes a deep shot intended for Fleming, incomplete, but 2 flags come out. Markevius Brown is arguing his case, but he's not going to win. That's pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense, number 1, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic. First down.
And he's still kind of hot.
Again, you get into things that these officials are looking for, and anytime you see a player, we can see it up here in the box. You see the jersey grab. And the replay doesn't show it. It was there before as he was breaking to the corner. You can see him pulling on that left shoulder. Those officials see that every time. As soon as they start to see that cloth pulled, they're throwing the flag.
And Brown might have been arguing, hey, I had position. He interfered with me. But they're saying that he might have cheated to get that position. Here's Hayden, big hole, 15, Hayden 10, powering his way inside the 5. Thieneman with the tackle. The Buckeyes are rolling on the ground.
And again, they're getting back to that gap scheme play, pulling the 2 big offensive linemen around almost in the exact same spot that they were in the first half. You see Cade Stover there, collapses the defensive end. You got the 2 big fellows pulling around there, just giving Dallan Hayden all kinds of air to do what he does best. I mean, this is an elite back that just really hasn't gotten his chance yet.
Gain of 19, incomplete here on first, not intended for Harrison as McCord rolled out and fired to the pylon. Brown with the coverage. Harrison could not hang on at the front pylon.
Yeah, you know they're going to keep trying to find ways. You see Kyle McCord getting outside the pocket. Marvin Harrison Jr. just isn't able to bring it in there on that contested catch.
Nice job, Brown, getting an arm in there. Opening possession here, third quarter, 2 minutes in. Harrison goes to the sideline on 2nd and goal. G. Scott, the tight end, in the backfield. Fake the pitch, running for his life. McCord throws it up for grabs in the end zone. Fight for it, and another flag. They're going to get Brown again. This time, Fleming was the intended receiver.
Yeah, and again, it's the same thing. Anytime these officials
Pass
see.
interference. Defense, number 1. The foul occurred in the end zone by rule. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic. First down.
Yeah, anytime they see those hands there on the back, and again, you could see it with, especially with the gloves in today's game. They're so sticky. You don't even have to grab. If you're just pulling on the jersey like he is there on the back, they're going to call that every time.
That's more than a grab. That's a hug. Caden Curry, big number 92, the defensive lineman, checks in. He was pressed this week. Are you a tight end? Are you an H-back? Are you a fullback? He said he is a positionless offensive piece. And then with his position coach on the podium, he was catching balls behind him, trying to prove he's got the hands. See if they throw to him.
As they say, the more you can do.
Exactly. Scott in motion on 1st and goal. The give up the middle. Dallan, Hayden, not going to get there. Yanni Karloftis, younger brother of the Super Bowl champion George with the Chiefs, makes the tackle.
Yeah, and they just get big Caden Curry going downhill. It's a great job there by Yanni Karloftis. Just, you know, a guy with an older brother that's in the NFL, he's going to play some physical football, so he flies in there and able to stop Ohio State short.
Hayden stood up again, but he lunges forward and gets it. Dallan, Hayden called into action and gets another Buckeye touchdown, 26-0.
You see this a lot throughout football. You get big number 92 out there. For the running back, it's easy. Just follow the big fella. Get your pads down. Finish with the ball in the end zone. They say all the time, you just carry the ball across the end zone with your pads. You see it there. He just wraps up the football, keeps the legs churning, ends up late in the end zone.
And now the extra point by Fielding again. He missed one earlier. Is up and in. So a little bit of breathing room here for the Buckeyes. They march right down the field in what is now turned into a rainy Ross-Ade. And Dallan Hayden, the sophomore, punches it in on the short touchdown run. And the Buckeyes are blanking the Boilers. Number 3 team of the nation, Ohio State, up 27-0 as the rain looked like a mist, but now really has, I beg your pardon, turned into a rain. Starts to come down. And Fielding is set to kick off here with the Buckeyes up 27-0 over the Boilermakers after marching right down the field and punching it in for what you'd have to think is a demoralizing opening drive here in the third quarter for Purdue, because the Ohio State ground game, the much criticized Ohio State ground game, got it going today with everyone banged up and with Dallan Hayden really as the bell cow.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned earlier that I talked to the running back coach, Tony Alford, this week, and I asked him about Dallan and how he was handling everything this year with all these incredible backs in front of him. He just kept telling me how great the kid practices, how hard he prepares, and it's the exact mentality that you have to have, because especially in college where there's an opportunity to play games and still keep your red shirt, he never knew when his opportunity was going to come, and he made most of that opportunity there in the first half.
The plan is to redshirt him. Ryan Day said that this week. He could still do that. I mean, he had over 100 carries a year ago. Pressed into service today as Maccabee opens up this drive going backwards. That Ohio State defense swarms. He opens up this drive, or open this game here today, here with the Ohio State backfield just really banged up. Travion Henderson, we thought was going to be in there. He was questionable, came out, warmed up. Ohio State decided to sit him after missing last week's game over Maryland as well. Then Chip Trainum got a hard hit in the first half. He has yet to return. Mayan Williams didn't dress either. And Ohio State is thin, but guys like Dallan Hayden have stepped up. And guys with Purdue thin at wide receiver like Mershawn Rice have to step up here as well. He catches that one with Latham Ransom there on the tackle. If Kyle here, somehow Hudson Card can mount a comeback.
Well, and this down is a huge down in terms of importance if they're going to do that. They were 1 of 7 in the first half on third down. It goes without saying, you can't sustain drives if you're 1 of 7 on third down.
This is going to be 3rd and 2. Maccabee goes to the backfield. Card over the middle. It's caught by Rice. Here's another one, and Rice breaks loose. Rice into Buckeye territory. That's what they needed.
And Marshawn Rice is a guy that we were told yesterday we could see a lot of action from with the receiver room being a little banged up. Does a great job there, just finding the window past the defender and then making something happen after the catch.
It is good for 35. We've got a pre-snap whistle.
The offense subbed. You weren't able to stop the snap. Well, put the ball down and re-snap.
All right, so defense has a chance to match that substitution. As mentioned, the rain is coming down, and Purdue missed 2 field goals in the first half, including one at the end of the second quarter. After a long drive, they went tempo. They got the ground game going. They could have punched it in. Ryan Walters' team could have made it potentially 20-7, knowing Ohio State would get the ball to open up the third quarter, but that was just a gut punch. But here, opening this drive well, longest play of the day, 35 to Rice. They will run now on first down and take it across the 30. Maccabee gets another carry. He had a nice first half, over 70 yards. Simon on the tackle.
Yeah, and Purdue, especially there towards the end of the half, have run the football very efficiently, given their offense opportunities to get the ball downfield. We talked about the explosive plays, and they're seeing them more from the run game than the pass game.
As much as we talked about the Buckeye ground game, Purdue actually outgained them, mainly because of that final drive of the second quarter on the ground in the first half at $136. Card pressure at his feet, incomplete. He wanted Rice again. He couldn't hang on, and it'll bring up 3rd and 8.
Great job there by the linebackers and Steele Chambers and Cody Simon. Cody Simon, a guy that we expect to see a lot more of today. Somebody that Ohio State's really trying to get on the field. Great opportunity up 27-0 to get some of these guys that you want to see more in live action out there on the field.
Michael Hall, 51, was at Card's feet there. He got it away, but Rice could not hang on. Now 3rd and 8. Purdue's opening drive, third quarter. Need the 22 to keep this drive alive. To give to Downing. Nowhere to go. Simon with a big hit there and a 3rd down stop, as there are some boos here in West Lafayette.
Well, I know what Purdue's thinking there and the opportunity. They've missed 2 long field goals early. It's 4-down territory, trying to get as many yards as they can to make this a 4th and short. They weren't able to pick up much on the run there. But you know what they're thinking. Obviously, the crowd's unhappy, thinking that it's a run. They're just conceding the down. But they're really just trying to get it more to a 4th and short, 4th and manageable.
Instead, they lose a yard, make it 4th and longer, 4th and 9. Card warns Miller, no, but a flag. Ransom, the safety, never got his head around, and that flag came out.
You got to like Hudson Card there.
Defense, number 8. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, first down.
Just taking the shot downfield to Garrett Miller. There's contact on both sides, but ultimately, again, we talk about if you're not going to get your head around as a defender, you got to just play through the football. Back in the day, we used to call that face guarding, and that's no longer a thing. But you got to get your head around and try to make it look like you're making a play on the football.
Says the former tight end. They were both grabbing each other there. Now, Card pulls it back, throws it to pylon, incomplete. He wanted Sheffield. Nice coverage there by Sonny Styles, the 6'4" safety, at least for now. He's a safety.
That looked like Hudson Card just had to get rid of the ball maybe a step too soon as he had Sheffield on the out and up down the sideline. If he could just hold on to that a little bit longer, he can deliver the football where Sheffield has a chance to maybe stop and go up and make a play on it. But Ohio State's pressure forced him to get rid of it a little sooner than he wanted.
TJ Sheffield, the captain, had a big game last week, got in the end zone at Iowa. He's been quiet today. Now 2nd down. They give it to Burks on the trickery. Burks to the 10. Igbinosun with the tackle to bring up 3rd and around 4.
And it's a great play here on the end around. All of the action is going left. And you see the tight end there, Drew Bibber, spins around, gets caught up in his own guy. Ultimately, you want him getting around and leading Deion Burks on the end around. But they talked to us yesterday. They got to find creative ways to get Deion Burks the ball because he's one of their most explosive players on offense.
He is hands down their fastest player on offense. He can be dangerous. There, got around 6, but here, Downing on 3rd down gets only 1. And Ryan Walters with booze raining down, sending out the field goal team. Down 27-0 here, 3rd quarter against the number 3 team in the nation.
Well, I just talked about the last run on 3rd down and why you would run it on 3rd down. Ultimately, it sees the same thing there. 3rd and 4, you run the football. You're expecting for them to then go for it on 4th down and not send the field goal unit out down 27-0.
From the right hash, Macias has missed 2 today. 1 wide left, the other one off the left upright, and he missed left again.
It's tough, you know. Kicking is such a mental position. You're not able to miss. You missed the first 2, and he's thinking about that. They've all been left.
Purdue has put 3 good drives together today. And the Boilermakers have come away with nothing out of those 3 drives. It's 27-0 midway through. From the world of John Wick, the 3-part event is streaming now only on Peacock. The 3-part event, unfortunately for Julio Macias, is missing 3 field goals. Tough one here today. Tough afternoon on now what is a wet and rainy day in West Lafayette. He has missed all 3 wide to the left. Kyle Rudolph, the 3 good Purdue drives have come away with nothing.
Yeah, and that's a lonely feeling standing over there on the sideline. We were talking about how much the mental part plays into that position, and he missed his first 2 left and then pulls the 3rd one even further.
Dallan Hayden already has 63 yards on the ground with Henderson. And if you're just joining us, Trainum not out there. Mayan Williams as well. Dallan Hayden is carrying the mail today for the Buckeyes. As there is a Purdue player down, that is Nick Scorton, the outside linebacker, and he is holding that left leg. We'll step aside as the Purdue staff is out to check on Scorton. 7:23 remaining. Already lost offensive lineman Luke Griffin today, so this is encouraging. It looks like just Kyle, I say just, he was able to walk off a helmet to the thigh for Nick Scorton.
Yeah, that never feels good, especially as a tight end, someone who's catching the ball. I've had a DB's helmet in my thigh quite a few times. Fortunately for the Purdue Boilermakers, Nick Scorton's able to shake it off and looks like he'll be back out there.
And he was able to get to the sideline under his own power. Now watching from a rainy sideline. His defense out there for a Buckeye 2nd and 7. Tate into the game at wide receiver, 17 in motion. Hayden trying to find some room over the right side. We talked so much this week about that offensive line getting a good push. They have for most of the time today. That was not one of those plays, however.
Purdue knows in order to slow this Ohio State offense down, that's where it's going to start here halfway through the 3rd quarter. You're going to see an even heavier dose of the run game here. They got to stop that run game if they have any chance.
Buckeyes great. Buckeyes great on 3rd down, 6-4-7 as McCord backpedals, fires for Tate. Tate has it. Tate breaks tackles and make it 7 for 8. Botros Alessandro eventually with the tackle as the true freshman from Chicago gets a 1st down out to the 36.
And Ohio State's been great on third down all day today. They're able to get the ball out, breaking tackles for another huge third down conversion by Carnell Tate, who just checked into the game.
Buckeye fans certainly aware of Carnell Tate, get to know him. The rest of the Big Ten world, he is, by most analysis, the next man up in this great line of Ohio State wide receivers. True freshman out of Chicago by way of IMG. And now a pre-snap penalty.
Play game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. It's down.
Second time today we've seen a delay again. Ryan Day a little more calmer this time. A little calmer this time.
He is a little calmer. I think it was just that goal line stand that got him all fired up. It kind of got his blood boiling there a little bit in the first half. You could tell talking to him at the half that stop for his defense with the ball just inside the 1 yard line really got him fired up.
Maybe I spoke too soon. Certainly a little animated there as McCord drops to throw. Tate running free. Tate across the 20 and thrown down at the 14. Cam Allen with the tackle. Carnell Tate with his second big play on this drive.
Yeah, we talked about Carnell Tate just before as a guy who's burst onto the scene. Just an incredible job there. One of the things this Purdue defense does, they find a lot of different ways to get to cover two. They try to disguise it, make it hard on the quarterback to see. That's a great job by a true freshman wide receiver, recognizing cover two and just running right down the middle of the defense.
And a gain of 60 to put him inside the 15. And now McCord throws another one. Cade Stover has his second touchdown today.
You know this tight end loves seeing the tight end get involved. 2 touchdowns for Cade Stover today. Again, it's all set up off of the ability for this offense to run the football. Cade Stover's a guy, you don't know if he's going to run block. They go the hard run action right at him, and he kind of sneaks his way through the interior of the defense, pops out the backside on the drag route for his second touchdown catch of the day.
He's doubled his touchdown total for the season. Scored last week, and now 3 in 2 weeks. And now Fielding, who missed one earlier after the opening touchdown, has been perfect since. And the Buckeyes are pulling away, and they are pouring it on as the rain comes down here at Purdue. It is 34-0. The Peacock and NBC upcoming schedules brought to you by Geico. Coming up after this one, College Park. The Terrapins, who fought pretty hard, got out to the early lead, but eventually lost to Ohio State last week, welcome Illinois to town. That one, again, NBC Peacock, 3:30, and then the big one coming up tonight, number 10, USC. Kyle, your Fighting Irish, ranked number 21, 7:30, up the road in South Bend. I know you got to get home. Come on, party you wanted to make the drive up there.
Yeah, I would have loved to have gotten up there for the game. You know, anytime you got USC in town, the second Saturday in October, it's a huge game. It's a big one for both teams. Definitely big for Notre Dame after stubbing their toe last week at Louisville. Great opportunity for the offense to get back on track against a defense that really hasn't stopped a whole lot of people.
As the kickoff goes out of bounds here, where it's 34-0. The rain's kind of coming down
Free kick out of
sideways.
bounds. Kicking team, Purdue is elected to take the ball at the 35-yard line. First down.
As Fielding boots it out of bounds. 34-0 with the rain coming down sideways now. 4:36 remaining in the third quarter. See the towel around Ryan Day's neck. He's got to be happy with the way his offense has operated here today. Banged up offensively, a wide receiver and at running back especially. But they've marched up and down the field here, and they are not in any way affected by these elements. Rain really started in the second quarter here. Purdue's had some good drives, but they have missed 3 field goals, and now will open up on their own 35. Maccabee in the backfield, Card with pressure there in his face from Tuimoloau. He's going to throw it away.
Yeah, and for these edge rushers on Ohio State, we've talked about them so much. Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer. 34-0, 4 minutes left here in the quarter. They're licking their chops. The opportunity to get after the quarterback.
To tee off and get after a quarterback that's got to throw here in the rain. Purdue, though, did come in as a pretty darn good running team for an air raid style system here. As Carr throws complete to the 40. That's Rice again. Purdue actually ran the ball over 30 times a week ago at Iowa, dominating time of possession. Had an 11-minute edge in time of possession, but even though they hung around, could not make the big plays offensively that Ryan Walters' team needed in the fourth quarter. Now they need more than a few big plays here if they're going to make this one interesting. 3rd and 5. Hudson looks right, throws back left, and airmails Burks, and it's 4th down. See if the offense stays on the field. No.
Yeah, the 3rd down struggles just continue for Purdue, as you know their wide receivers just can't seem to find any separation against this Ohio State secondary. And you know, Hudson Card's just sitting back there in the pocket, waiting for somebody to finally come open, deliver them the football, and you know, ultimately he throws it away, isn't able to find anyone.
And Purdue now 2 of 11 on 3rd down as Ansel gets it away, and through the rain, Ballard looks up, calls for the fair catch, and takes it cleanly near the 20. I said with the booze coming down and the rain coming down, the Purdue faithful not happy with some of Walters' 4th down decisions, going for 2 of those field goals, but that time all the way backed up in your own end. You kind of get it, despite the 34-0 score. Kyle McCord has played well today as we take a peek inside the Buckeye huddle. 14-25, 248. He's thrown 3 touchdowns for offensive coordinator Brian Hartline. Enjoyed our conversation, Kyle, with him this week. He played with a great group. He has coached an amazing group.
Yeah, and it was really cool to talk to Brian Hartline this week and talk to him about the time when he played here at Ohio State with Antonio Holmes and Ted Ginn Jr., Anthony Gonzalez, and then coming back here in 2018 and wanting to restore that tradition of 1st-round wide receivers here at The Ohio State University.
And there are 1st-round wide receivers certainly on this roster. You would have to think Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Egbuka as well, who is down today, did not make the trip. And hey, we saw Carnell Tate with a long play. I said it was 60. It was called 60. It's now 55. 21, Evan Pryor has checked into the game at running back. The junior out of Cornelius, North Carolina, is going to get another carry with nowhere to go, and he is going to lose major yardage. O.C. Brothers and Will Helt going to drop him back on the 21.
We talked about it. The goal is pretty simple for this Purdue defense at this point in the game. They have to come up and stop the run, and you know, you mentioned Evan Pryor checking into the game there. I'm sure we'll see him get a little bit more action here in the 2nd half, as we'll see a really steady dose of the run game from Ohio State.
3rd and long here for the Buckeyes. Pryor remains in the game. 3 receivers on the bottom of your screen to the left, which is where McCord looks and fires, and Harrison cannot hang on. Seen that a couple of times today from Marvin Harrison Jr. Got to consider the wet conditions, had to reach for that one, but he could not put his mitts around it.
You know, it's interesting. I talked about how sticky the gloves are in today's world with the technology, but it almost works against you when they get wet. It's really hard. You have that catch where you're reaching out, extending. You know, there are times when it would get wet in games that I play, and you almost ditch the gloves and just go out there because you have better feel with just your hands catching a football that might be a little slick.
You want that natural feel sometimes without the gloves. Totally understand it. Harrison could not get that one. Just the Buckeyes' 2nd punt from Jesse Mirko. Sheffield Field, 45. Spin move, 50. Buckeye territory. Nice little return here. Give this crowd something to cheer about as Sheffield's going to take it to the 48. Speaking of something to cheer about, man, they are still telling stories, and you know what? They will for years about what happened in 2018 when Ohio State came in here as the #2 team of the nation. And Buckeye fans call it the Rondale Moore game when they even want to talk about what happened that night here at Ross-Ade. The late Dwayne Haskins had to throw 73 times in that game. And Purdue stunned the college football world 49-20. It was the only loss that year for Urban Meyer's Buckeyes, his final season. That one loss kept them from competing for the national championship. Eventually went to the Rose Bowl. Down the sideline by Card on first down. Overthrows Jaden Dixon-Veal. Mentioned the Buckeye fans call it the Rondale Moore game. Everyone else calls it the Tyler Trent game. Who was a fan, a student, a writer for the paper, and a young man battling bone cancer. A young man that has meant so much to this community. Tyler Trent died on New Year's Day in 2019, but you see his family there, his parents, Tony and Kelly, and that young man to the right, his brother, Ethan, is now a walk-on for Ryan Walters' team, an offensive lineman, probably a couple of years away from playing football. But today is a hammer-down cancer game, and in memory of Tyler Trent, to honor Tyler Trent, this entire community, Kyle, comes together to help raise money to fight cancer. All of us have been touched by cancer. All of us can look to Tyler Trent for inspiration.
There's no doubt about it, and cancer seems like it's affected each and every one of us, and what this community, what this team has been able to do to rally around the Trent family. You know, we heard about it this morning on the game day piece with this program being inspired by someone as opposed to inspiring someone else.
Yeah, I got chills honestly watching that. Like I said, there is no one out there, no one in this booth, no one watching at home, as we see Ethan Trent there on the sideline. Tyler's younger brother. There is no one that can say they or their family has been unaffected. And seeing Tyler Trent here that night, what he meant to this team, to this community. David Blau says he still gets choked up. The quarterback that night. It's great to see everyone come together here in his memory as Ansel shanks it out of bounds near the 20-yard line. 34-0, Ohio State on top of Purdue. 1:28 remaining in the third quarter. Ryan-Day probably breathing a little easy now. 33-0 against unranked teams, and because of what happened in 2018, because of what happened in '84, in 1960, in 1945, when the Buckeyes have come in here as a top 5 team and lost to the Boilermakers, I think some people were a little uneasy this week. I don't think they're uneasy anymore.
You mentioned Ryan-Day's record against unranked teams, and certainly he gets a little bit of heat for his performances against some of the bigger teams in Michigan, but certainly he's taking care of the ones they're supposed to take care of year in and year out.
Absolutely. 33-0 against unranked teams mean the games that you're supposed to win, the games that can, and we see it every year, trip up highly ranked teams with eyes on the prize. He has checked the box every single time.
Well, and I think the vibe we got from talking to Ohio State this week with Penn State looming next week is, we're not good enough to worry about Penn State. We have to improve as a football team. Certainly the run game's been a big part of that and a big part of their success here today.
The run game today, at least now in the third quarter, belongs to Evan Pryor. Gets another carry. O.C. Brothers, who's missed the last 2 games at linebacker for Purdue, makes the tackle to bring up 3rd and long as we come up on 1 minute remaining here in the third.
Well, this is a great opportunity for a guy like Evan Pryor. We talked about Dallan Hayden making the most of his opportunity. You've got so many good backs in front of you. It's a chance for you to go out there and show the rest of your teammates what you can do, and you get a chance.
And let's see what they do here with Brandon Innis, the freshman wide receiver, checking in. Number 11, ball's out. Karlaftis falls on it. It's Purdue football as the Boilermakers force a turnover. Nick Scorton took it away.
It's a great job by the Boilermakers. This is a team that's...
Ruling on fields, a fumble recovered by the defense. First down.
It's a team that's had a lot of success getting to the quarterback. They haven't been able to get to the quarterback yet today. They brought a couple corner pressures that caused a little bit of stress for Kyle McCord in the pocket, but now finally you see one of those edge players in Nick Scorton able to get home, get the strip sack, turn the football over, and give this Purdue offense really good field position on the +20.
Scorton beating right tackle Josh Fryer. And for Scorton, it is his 4th sack of the year. No, last year's Nick Caraway, honoring his dad Nicky, changed his name to Scorton. And he sets up the Boilers on the 20. Card throws, knocked up in the air by Igmanosin, incomplete. Who to the pylon, took a shot early, wanted Burks. Igbinosun all over him.
Yeah, it's a great job by Igbinosun. We talked about it a couple of times on these 50-50 balls, and you'd love to see Deion Burks. He's almost waiting, kind of playing into the contact with those back shoulder fades, as they call them. You want to continue to run. Let the quarterback throw the ball on your back shoulder and adjust to it late. That doesn't give Igbinosun an opportunity to play your body reaction.
Purdue hasn't been shut out in a decade. Last time 2013 at the hands of these Buckeyes. Miller fell down, and it's 3rd down.
Yeah, we started the top of the broadcast talking about screw-ins and moldeds, and the field was in really good condition the first half. Gotten some rain here throughout halftime and the 3rd quarter, so I'm sure it's getting a little slick. If he doesn't have screw-ins in, you certainly would like to get those changed out, give you a little bit more grab. You could put your foot in the ground and break out on the corner route.
It was a downpour around 7 last night. The rain eventually went away, pretty clear all morning, but now it's coming down. Purdue has converted only twice today on 3rd down. The delay, Maccabee not going to get there. Cody Simon, who defensive coordinator Jim Knowles said he wanted to see more of. It was on him to get him on the field more with that tackle to bring up 4th down.
We've talked about the opportunities for the running backs. As you mentioned, defensive coordinator wanting to get Cody Simon out there, and it gives Jim Knowles an opportunity to maybe see some guys that he wouldn't be able to see had it was a game like last week where the offense didn't get out to a fast start. You got to put your players out there to swing the momentum for you, as the Ohio State defense did last week.
This time against that defense, Ryan Walters is going to keep his team out there on 4th down, but they can't get the play off before the end of the quarter. We'll have to wait as they walk to the other end for the 4th quarter for a 4th down try here for Purdue as Ohio State heads to the 4th up 34-0. Big Ten Saturday on Peacock is presented by Geico. It's a tradition, a great one here at Ross-Ade to open up the 4th quarter. They sing the Animal House Classic Shout, and you know what? Mascots can be friends. Purdue Pete and Brutus dancing together. You gotta love it. As we open up with a 4th and 7 to open the 4th quarter. Hudson Card trying to avoid a shutout. Got to get to the 10 to keep it alive. Calls for it. Gets it. With pressure converging. Throws over the middle. And it's complete inside the 5. How about TJ Sheffield taking a hit and holding on?
Big catch on 4th down there by TJ Sheffield. Looks like he got some flags down back by the quarterback. 2
flags in the backfield. Kyle.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense number 33. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic 1st down.
Jack Sawyer called for roughing the passer as Sheffield caught it on the 2.
This Purdue offense down on the 1-yard line again. Last time they were on the 1-yard line. They get the penalty, then the sack, ultimately backing them up. We got 2 tight ends in the game here as Drew Bibber checks in.
Bibber's wearing 82, slot left, and he's going to come in motion. Card fakes to Maccabee, little jump pass, incomplete. Again, tight end can't hang on. Earlier it was Miller, this time it's Bibby.
Well, and Drew Bibber goes across in motion. You show the little tight end YY wing on the backside. They just try to sneak him out in the run action. Isn't able to hold on to it there on the backside. Again, it's slick. You got to focus a little bit harder, and it's tough when you're catching the ball and you're wide open. You know all you got to do is turn up and score for the touchdown.
I said Bibby. It is Bibber who could not hang on. Now with the play clock at 7, we got a flag.
False start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Jalen Grant called for moving early, so they get to the 1. Drop pass, and now a false start backs them up 5. It's their red zone story today.
Well, yeah, and we talked about it. It's something that when you're down here in the low red zone, the biggest thing that you cannot do is have penalties. Sacks, penalties, they get you behind the chains. It's already hard enough, but it's the 2nd time in a row they had the ball on or inside the 1 yard line and get backed up with a penalty.
So here's Card to the blitz coming. Card throws, and they finally get in the end zone. Deion Burks with Purdue's first points of the day.
Deion Burks is a guy that we've talked about a lot in terms of probably being the most explosive player on this offense. You don't have to win downfield to be explosive. And it seemed like you watch this guy time and time again. He has an incredible ability and twitchiness about him. He runs these slant routes. There he is again, winning on a slant route for the touchdown.
And you know what? After that touchdown, Walters is making a change at kicker. Julio Macias, who missed 3 field goals earlier, gives way to Caleb Crockover, and the crowd gets loud for the extra point. They get in the end zone. They convert the kick. A 6-play, 20-yard drive after Karlaftis recovers a McCord fumble. And Purdue is finally on the board.
And again, there's that twitchiness, and it really is. That last angle showed it. That is a difficult catch. You got Hudson Card back there behind all those big offense and defensive linemen. He kind of slings it, little sidearm out of a window, and that ball was on Deion Burks in a hurry. Great job there by, again, their most explosive playmaker on offense, creating separation, which we've talked about. They've struggled up to this point, creating separation and giving Hudson Card opportunities to throw the football.
And we see it so much with younger quarterbacks now, the arm angles, right? And the ability with the rush coming at you to lower that arm angle to try to fit the ball around, whether it's a blitzing DB or a linebacker or a defensive end coming off the edge. Hudson Card is a pretty darn good athlete. Played some wide receiver in high school. Showed some of that athleticism there. And Purdue got its touchdown. Had some trouble last week with the ball falling off the tee. And with the wind kind of whipping here, it looks like Crockover needs some help again.
Certainly no disputing that one. It's windy here today.
Yeah, we could feel the winds coming in the booth a little bit, the rain's coming in the booth a little bit. But these fans are hanging around as Crockover gets it away to Xavier Johnson. Johnson has some room. Johnson dodging tacklers, staying on his feet, and getting out to near the 35. So Crockover kicked it off, and he was also out for that extra point, as mentioned. Macias had missed the 3 field goals, and check out the reaction after Purdue successfully executes the kick. Kind of like a high five and then a woo. Also might have just been wiping his helmet off with all the rain.
So certainly these wet conditions don't make it easy coming in 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter for your first kick of the game.
No, but he got the job done here as McCord is still in there and finds Harrison, who is still in there, who has room and ahead of steam down the far sideline, takes it into Purdue territory before Allen runs him out of bounds. It's a gain of 20. Kyle, surprised at all that McCord's still in there, up 34-0. Harrison as well.
Yeah, you know, we've talked about Marvin Harrison Jr. and the ability that he brings. You talk about Kyle McCord, what he means to this offense. They're certainly going to you're going to get a steady dose of the run. It's going to be passes like that where he's not really standing in the pocket, putting himself at risk.
Look, there are milestones to be met. 2,000 yards for Marvin Harrison Jr. among them as McCord stays in there, faces the rush, and he just flings it. No whistle. That's a loose ball. Stover's back there to fall on it. Hadron Jenkins knocked it away. The second straight possession. That Ryan Day sees his quarterback lose it in the backfield.
Yeah, it's a heads-up play there by Cade Stover to jump on the football. Be curious to see here. You know, almost looked as if Kyle McCord was trying to throw the ball, and maybe take another look at that. I don't know if it is an attempted pass. It might be intentional grounding. So, you know, one way or the other, going to lose a lot of yards on this play.
Lost it down for intentional grounding as it stands right now. It's a fumble and a loss of 13, as that was Hadron Jenkins, who came in with 4 sacks, led the Big Ten with 10 sacks to open up the week, who brought McCord down and knocked it loose. And now, as you were saying, Kyle,
there was no foul for intentional grounding. The pass was ruled a fumble. That ruling is under further review.
Asking you receive. Greg Blum's our referee, says let's look at it again. We're going to bring in Reggie Smith, our officiating, our rules analyst. Reggie, what say you?
What we're taking a look at here is whether the quarterback, intentionally passes, which begins when you have forward movement with the hand, or whether the ruling on the field is a fumble. So what they're going to determine, and the referee went back and made a great announcement and said there is no foul for intentional grounding because the ruling on the field is a fumble. So what this allows replay to do is, in the event they determine that there was forward movement of the hand, and it looks like there may be, now they can go back in and institute a foul for intentional grounding. So we're going to take a look at some of these angles that they're seeing and see if there's enough to overturn the ruling on the field. So far,
Well, Reggie,
it's going to be tight.
It doesn't seem like his knee was down when McCord, if we're ruling grounding, tried to throw. Do you think his knee was down?
No, his knee was not down at that point in time, so he was definitely up, which is why they ruled fumble initially. And when you look at the forward movement of his right hand, it looks like he might try, but it looks like he sort of just flicks it with the fingertips. Very, very tough. Perhaps instant replay allows this to stand.
Again, the ruling on the field is a loss of 13 after the sack. Stover went back there and was good to fall on it. He scored 2 touchdowns today. He could also fall on the fumble, and here's the call.
After review, it was a forward pass, not a fumble. Incomplete pass. There was no receiver in the area. Intentional grounding. Offense number 1. At the spot of the foul, loss of down, 3rd down. Correction, quarterback is number 6.
Well, yeah, we got that part as well. Kyle McCord, number 6, as
Correction, it'll be
expected.
2nd down
That
coming
is
up.
grounding. And it'll be 2nd and 23. We're set, we're good. 2nd and 23.
Say we're all set. It really doesn't change much because it goes to the spot of the foul where ultimately the fumble was not far away from that point. You have the loss of down with the intentional grounding. It would have been 2nd down coming up after the fumble, so it's mere technicality there, Andrew.
Regardless here, Ryan Day, you're wondering if a thought bubble could be put over his head right now. It might say, I need my quarterback to hold on to the football. Consecutive drives, McCord has lost the football. This one called grounding. The previous drive got hit inside his own 20, gave it away, and Purdue was able to turn that fumble into points. Buckeyes great on the turnover margin coming in to this day here, but it's turned into a rainy day here on Peacock in West Lafayette. As the Buckeyes are still huddling on the far sideline in front of their bench on the numbers here, waiting to get back to action. 12:59 remaining in the 4th. They're going to put it on the 44 as we're ready for action again. Dallan Hayden has 10 carries today. Here is number 11, and he has room. Hayden gets to the outside. Thieneman able to wrap him up. However, as Hayden was turning the corner. Actually, Cade, I beg your pardon. 31 and 21, the 2 safeties. It was Sanusi Kane, who brought him down right around the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and Sanusi Kane's just it's a good football player. He does a great job avoiding the stiff arm from Dallan Hayden and getting the runner down. You know, given Ohio State here, that run gives them an opportunity to maybe try to go for this 3rd down conversion.
They're going to throw on 3rd and 12. It's Tate sitting down, catching that, and then turn it upfield. Not nearly enough. It's on the 40. Interesting decision here for Ryan Day. From this point, it's a 58-yard field goal. Going to bring out the punt team. What's he going to do? He's not going to go for it. He's bringing out Jesse Mirko, and he's going to punt it away.
Yeah, I mean, you got to punt this football, especially with the struggles that this Purdue offense has had throughout the course of the game. Converting on 3rd down, you know, you play the field position here. The conditions certainly play a factor into it as well. Try to pin him down inside the 10-yard line is the goal here.
Mirko, another Australian punter in his 3rd year here with the Buckeyes. Waits for it on his own 46 and a whistle. Play clock's at 0.
Delay a game. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And that's the 3rd delay a game by my count on the Buckeyes. 2 offensively, 1 here with special teams.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, Coach Day's upset there, but
come on, guys.
Realistically, it gives your punter a little bit more room. You see a lot of special teams, especially punt units, take delays there.
And now another flag. Yeah, I'm with you, Kyle. Like, my first thought was,
Illegal
maybe
snap.
you're backing up for some room.
Offense number 43, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
I said they've been playing a clean game. Special teams penalties an issue last week. Overall penalties with 10, but here 2 back-to-back special teams penalties. So was it the field possession game? You read Ryan Day's lips there. He was like, come on, guys. So I don't think that was a field position delay. So they back up again, 10 yards in total, and Mirko gets it away. Sheffield's going to run away. Good job. Planted that thing on the 1, and then Ballard is down there slipping to sit on it. And to pin the Boilermakers deep. 98 yards to go. So it worked out for Day and the Buckeyes. 34-7, 11:25 remaining in the 4th. You're watching Big Ten Saturday on Peacock. Coming up tomorrow, Sunday Night Football. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills welcome the New York Giants into Western New York Football Night in America, kicking things off at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC and on Peacock. Here on Peacock, Ross-Ade Stadium, West Lafayette, Indiana. It is a one-sided game, 34-7. The Buckeyes on top of the Boilermakers. Some breathing room here for Purdue to open up the drive. They were backed up inside the 5. Dylan Downing with a nice run to give him some room. Sonny Styles and Latham Ransom, a couple of safeties up for the tackle. This Ohio State defense has allowed only 199 yards today. We had questions about the offense. We did not coming in today. Kyle Rudolph had a lot of questions about Jim Knowles' defense, which is a bit different. It's more of a bend not break than we've seen in years past, limiting explosives, which is what they've done today.
And one of the things Jim Knowles talked to us about this week, when he got here, it was almost a defense that was okay with losing to the offense. Rightfully so. There were NFL playmakers all over that offense, and it was a culture that he wanted to change. They wanted to win games on defense.
5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
They wanted that defense to know that we can be a defensive team. We have to win games that way. I mean, we're not just going to outscore everybody every week. And this offense, especially with a new quarterback. Kyle McCord's been here a couple of years, but it's a new quarterback here. And with a revamped offensive line, 3 starters from a year ago in the NFL, and Paris Johnson and DeJuan Jones.
The play clock did not properly
Whitler.
reset. There's no foul for delay.
Okay, so they'll pick up the flag, no delay there. This offense is very much a work in progress, as we said here at the top of the show. So a lot of pressure on the defense. I think that defense, this defense, has welcomed that pressure.
Yeah, and speaking about pressure, you know, it's a defense that maybe in the past has brought a little bit more pressure. And, you know, again, it's something that they feel like they don't have to bring pressure. They can let their playmakers on the back end do their thing while the front 4 puts pressure on the quarterback.
And they have certainly done that today on 3rd and 1. They'll keep it alive. Dylan Downing over the right side. He has a Purdue first down to the 14. I don't know if anyone was afraid that Ohio State would be looking ahead to Penn State next week with what we just said about the fact that this team needed to play better. Deep shot, incomplete. Card had Dixon Veal running free. 2 guys in the neighborhood couldn't hit either. I don't think anybody was looking ahead, considering this team's struggles here historically at Ross-Ade. But the way they have handled their business today and really dominated Purdue, I think gives them a lot of encouragement here and certainly some needed momentum going to 6-0 and heading to face Penn State next week. As the clock winds under 10 minutes, 34-7. Card, pocket collapsing, gets it away. Downing on the far sideline, cut down shy of the 20. It's Jermaine Matthews up there for the tackle.
And I think one of the things, Andrew, that we've talked about it a ton, the emphasis on this run game, the opportunity for the offensive line to really step up. Didn't matter who the backs were or the receivers were or the quarterbacks were that were running the football. They might not have needed the running game like they had today to win this game, but you looked at the remaining schedule there. In order to get to where they want to be at the end of November and playing their best football, winning games in the Big Ten in October, November, you're going to have the run game that showed up today.
Absolutely. Going to need it next week here as well. 3rd and 2. Card fires into traffic. The fans here want a flag. It was Burks shallow, or rather Miller shallow, and Burks where the ball eventually went to. Not sure which was the intended receiver. Regardless, they fail again on 3rd down, and the punting team is coming out here. Purdue 3 of 14 on 3rd down.
I just keep waiting. We talked about stealing the possession. We certainly thought, it might be in the first half, but I feel like Ansel every time has just kind of waited to see if they drop in coverage before he kicks the ball. Who knows? Maybe he'll hold on to it and just take off here for 2 yards.
This is his 7th punt of the day. Gets it away quickly. It's a bad one. Low bouncer near midfield. Rolls to the 36. 8:58 to go here in West Lafayette.
Well, what a day it's been to remember Tyler Trent and continue the fight against cancer here at Purdue in his honor. It all started this morning right there as cancer survivors lining the Boilermaker Walk as the team made its way toward the stadium. That was a great scene. Then in the second quarter, the PA announcer asked all cancer survivors to stand or maybe just hold up the names of those you love who are dealing with the disease. And then at halftime, messages sent in from families and friends scrolled across the video board, recognizing and remembering those affected by this disease. All of this in the effort to hammer down cancer here at Purdue in the memory, of course, of Tyler Trent, who passed away on January 1st, 2019. But his memory and his inspiration, my goodness, they still are very much alive here at West Lafayette. You guys, you talked about it earlier. It is a very emotional story that still resonates today. No doubt.
Yeah, and my goodness, Lewis, is a great way to say it because, Kyle and I, we're all talking as we have a quarterback change here, Devin Brown on the carry. He played some of the first half. As we're all talking on the car over here today to the stadium from the hotel, just watching the piece from 2018, watching the piece again this morning, it got me again. It's such an emotional story, and I can't emphasize enough how much that young man meant to this community, meant to this team, and how Tyler Trent lives on through everyone here at Purdue. And to see his family out there, mom and dad, Tony and Kelly, as shout leaders here at the end of the third quarter as well, to see Ethan, his brother, on the sideline. And the Buckeyes here, obviously, Purdue fans would want a different outcome, but it all comes full circle. And, football is family, and this family here for Purdue is pretty strong. 3rd and 4. Devin Brown at quarterback. Kyle McCord's day is done. 3 touchdowns. Pretty good day of work for McCord. Brown scored earlier in this game, a rushing touchdown. He's gonna throw, and he's got his completion to Brandon Innis, the freshman Innis. Touchdown.
It's a wide receiver room that we just keep talking about, in a list that we just keep going further down with freshman after freshman coming in and making incredible plays. And Brandon Innis there makes a huge play on 3rd down. It's just the spoil of riches here. I mean, it's just true freshman after true freshman.
You had 2 lined up on that side, Tate and Innis. And then Innis made a move on Allen, hit the brakes, he flew right by, and Innis gets the 58-yard touchdown. Brian Hartline was pressed this week. We gonna see him? Nah, I don't know. You gonna see him? Maybe. Well, it's a blowout, and Ibuka is down, and Innis is in, and the route is on. 41-7. But Ohio State has not gone away from scoring here. As don't forget tonight, the Trojans and Caleb Williams Heading to South Bend to take on Sam Hartman and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in primetime. Here comes Saturday night. Sing it with me. Presented by Discover. Saturday afternoon, it is all Buckeyes, the third-ranked team of the nation, looking to go to 6-0, well on their way. They're remaining undefeated midway through the fourth quarter, up 41-7 as the fans here yell "Cancer sucks" at the kickoff. As we second that and go back to the touchdown. This is not a second, this is a first. Brandon Innis, first career catch for a 58-yard score, Kyle.
What a way to make your first career college catch. You know, we've talked about both of these true freshmen and the ability that they have to be next in line in the great list of receivers at Ohio State. And Brandon Innis does an unbelievable job and makes the catch, puts his foot in the ground, shows his run after catch ability to find the end zone there on the long touchdown reception.
Freshman out of Florida. Tate, the freshman out of Chicago by way of Florida, also had a big play to set up a touchdown earlier. And those freshmen with the Buka down and with this game a blowout have both contributed mightily. Maccabee with the carry there, and he took the handoff from a new quarterback, Bennett Meredith. The transfer from Arizona State is in as the day is done for the banged-up Hudson Card. Threw for a $125 at a touchdown. Simply not enough offense today, and really not enough pieces on that Purdue depth chart here with so many guys injured. Maccabee, though, is healthy, and Maccabee, tell you what, even in a blowout, it is fun to watch him run. You know, Graham Harrell said yesterday, I don't know how, Kyle, he makes so many people miss, but he does.
It's funny because as soon as offensive coordinator Graham Harrell described Devin Maccabee in that way, like when you look at him, you just wouldn't expect him to be able to run the football that well. I've seen plenty of guys throughout my career that have that exact same style, but you got to give him credit because he does. He has great patience. He sees the cuts. He makes all the cuts. And he's been one of the few bright spots here for Purdue on offense.
He is a walk-on from Boonville, Indiana. Had a great freshman season. And when Ryan Walters got here, one of the very first things he did when he met with his team to introduce himself and say how things are going to go with me as the head coach, he said, Devin Maccabee, stand up. Heard a lot about you. I coached against you last year as the defensive coordinator at Illinois. I just found out you're a walk-on. Young man, you're getting a scholarship. And he has earned and he deserved that scholarship as Maccabee slips here across on the 50. Teammates went wild and love this guy.
The mechanic.
They call him the mechanic. He works on cars. He's actually a certified mechanic. He has a 93 Fox body Mustang. He says he goes to class sometimes and people say, hey, saw you yesterday. I said, where, like, how did you see me? It's like, oh, I saw your car. So his car's a bit of a celebrity here as well. And he also, I'm told, does do oil changes. And I'm not kidding. He changes the oil for some of his teammates. Don't know whether or not he upcharges for the air filter. Down the sideline, incomplete. Intended for Jerron Tibbs. I mentioned that moment when Walters first met the team. Take a look.
Where's Devin at? Devin, what's up, man? Stand up, bro. So obviously, like, I played against y'all, right? When I found out he was a walk-on, I'm like, what the hell going on over there? So first order of business, I'm gonna pull rank right now, and you on scholarship, all right, dog?
Yeah, what a great moment. Maccabee over 100 yards today, even in a losing effort. And on 4th and 1, he's going to get that first down, turn it upfield, and keep this Purdue alive. Drive alive across the 45. Jahad Carter's checked into the game. The transfer from Syracuse wearing 14 for the Buckeyes on the tackle.
Maybe now that Devin Maccabee's on scholarship, he can quit upcharging for those air filters. He doesn't have to worry about paying for school anymore.
Yeah, I kid, but how many times have they come back going, you know what, you need a new air filter. Can I see it? Dylan Downing the carry. Then they show it to you. Like, yeah, I just wanted you to know that we changed the filter last time, like a month ago. Ryan Day can now start thinking about the undefeated Penn State Nittany Lions later next week. Back at home in Columbus on the 21st. Penn State about to kick, facing UMass today, one of 3 undefeated teams in the Big Ten. Tibbs there with his first catch, and Tibbs breaks a tackle and spins and gets close to a first down before Cody Simon stopped him about a yard short.
Yeah, starting to see some of these other playmakers who, again, offensive coordinator Graham Harrell mentioned we might see because of the wide receiver room banged up.
And we have another offensive lineman down as well. Muhammad Musa, the left tackle, which again you hate to see because they lost Luke Griffin earlier today, the right guard, and last week they lost Marcus Bowe as well. Walters out to check on him, with 3:52 remaining in this one. Walters said this week, what is depth? His team really needs that bye next week, especially today, considering the score here, to catch your breath, but especially considering they just got to get healthy, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, it's hard, you know, talking to some of the guys around the building yesterday. A lot of players that they expected to have big roles going into training camp aren't around anymore. And you mentioned Coach's comment about what is depth. It's tough. You know, you're already outmanned against this Ohio State team. And when you don't have a lot of the guys that you were counting on going into the season to be out there at this point in the season, it certainly makes things a little more difficult for you as a team. And, you know, at this point in the game, under 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the last thing you want to see is a guy being helped off the field from an injury. Just get everybody out healthy into the bye.
So with Musa going to the sideline, in essence, you're down 3 offensive linemen. You have your second-string quarterback out there. But you started this game without Rador Rahman Yassin, who did warm up, but really we haven't seen today. And Tyrone Tracy, the running back, who missed yet another game today. And you lose the tight end, Max Clare, a couple of weeks ago as well. He had ankle surgery. You just don't have enough pieces here, despite the fact that you have a quarterback who's banged up, who can sling it, but against this Ohio State defense, case in point right there, it's tough to do anything. Mitchell Melton, the other 17, up for the tackle on Downing, and it's going to be 4th down.
Yeah, and you see it there. We almost had another offensive lineman get rolled up in the left tackle, in the right tackle, Ben Farrell. Running on 3rd down, hoping to get close. Now here we are on 4th and 3.
With Meredith in at quarterback. The Arizona State transfer coming up on 3 minutes remaining here. Meredith has time, pressure from behind, and almost got picked off. Simon had his hands on it, but he could not haul it in. So a turnover on downs. Throw it right to Cody Simon, couldn't catch it. 41-7 down the stretch we come here. And this was back on September 16th with 7'4" Zach Edey pounding the drum on a Big Ten Saturday night. Zach Edey and the Boilermakers, he is back. And we are back with basketball, Big Ten basketball on Peacock. Got Boilermakers games coming up, got Buckeyes games coming up as we get closer and closer to basketball season. We get closer and closer to the end of this one here with Ohio State cruising up 41-7. Devin Brown, who scored earlier on the ground, in at quarterback. Big picture here, Kyle Rudolph as the Buckeyes go to 6-0, obviously with Penn State looming next week. Is this team good enough? They did the job today, but big picture, what do you think?
Well, and you look at big picture and what their points of emphasis were this week as a team. And, you know, certainly they passed the test today. They wanted to get the run game going. They wanted to get this offensive line communicating better, getting on the same page. You've seen it. There's a lot less unblocked guys in the hole in the run game. They're going to need that to get to where they want to be late November. So, you know, big picture, you know what gives this Ohio State team the best chance is the defense. And that defense showed up again today.
And that defense they're going to need next week against James Franklin's bunch back in Columbus. And then it's a trip to Wisconsin the week thereafter. I know you were up at Wisconsin last week. Ohio State now over 500 yards, facing a 3rd and 8 and movement on the right side of the line. 1:46 to go in this
Ball
one.
start. Offense number 51, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Luke Montgomery, the freshman from Findlay, Ohio, in now at right tackle, called for that one. And big picture on the other sideline. Really enjoyed getting to know Ryan Walters yesterday. He's only 37 years old. There is a new youth and energy and a different vibe in this building. The players certainly like it. This is a young staff. Got a lot of guys from the portal. We know he can coach defense. This team is banged up today. It is a process, but you're seeing those signs. I know Purdue fans have something to be hopeful here about.
It is. I mean, you got a great player in the quarterback in Hudson Card, but then you look at the defense that he's building. The true freshmen in the secondary are both special players to build around in Derek Rogers and Dylan Thieneman. And that's the pieces that it's going to take to get this turned around.
Thieneman, obviously the safety, Kane, 21. You know, you have those two key pieces there. Jeffrey Mba, the Auburn transfer, gets a sack there. He is certainly a key piece up front as well. And it forces a 4th down with that sack. And Mirko is back to punt with Andrew Sowinski set to return, the junior out of Indianapolis. And Mirko gets it away for the 4th time today. Sowinski backpedaling with a fair catch inside the 20 with 37 seconds to go. All right, Notre Dame SC tonight, buddy.
Yeah, it's a big one. Hopefully an opportunity for our offense to bounce back. One of the best starts for a Notre Dame offense in a long time. But the last few weeks, the competition got a little tougher. We haven't scored as many points. In order to keep up with Caleb Williams in that high-powered USC offense, we're going to have to score points tonight. So interesting. The Irish are favored at home. So maybe Vegas knows something that we as Irish fans aren't seeing, but hopefully the boys can go out and bring one home tonight. It would be big for the rest of the season and the momentum heading to the last few weeks.
Well, have you seen the SC defense of late? Triple overtime last week before Jed Fish and his Arizona team finally bowed out. Almost got that win at the Coliseum. Caleb Williams worked his magic. As Adai Llewellyn takes the handoff here. Caleb Williams worked his magic and SC got out of there with a victory. But from where I sit, living in Los Angeles, only thing I know my neighbors, all Trojan fans, talk about is, can they fix that defense? Can that Alex Grinch defense turn things around? Because you know you have the quarterback and you know they have the weapons offensively. I think Ohio State knows it has a quarterback as well. Without their big weapons offensively here, the Buckeyes get a huge win today.
That's
they
the end of the game.
exercise some of those Ross-Ade demons, and they beat the Boilermakers 41-7, and Ryan Day goes to 6-0.
Yeah. The Buckeyes were definitely up for the test today. Everything that we've talked about all week long and leading into the broadcast, they proved that putting a little bit of emphasis on it this week paid off. They were able to come out here today, and you would think build a lot of confidence heading back to Columbus to play Penn State next week.
Kyle McCord threw for 3, scores 2 of them to Farmer Gronk. Cade Stover, just saw him wearing number 8. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 6 for 105 at a touchdown. Trouble hanging on to a couple of passes here. Understandable in the rain. But Ohio State with a lot of red here in the stands. A lot of Buckeye fans who made that 4-hour drive thereabouts from Columbus. Got here, saw their team do what they needed them to do. And that is start well, play good defense, and never let the Boilermakers hang around to let them think they had a shot. That never happened today. Hudson Card was under pressure, but they couldn't get the offense going. We get going down to the field and Lewis Johnson.
All right, thanks very much. Well, Coach, when you arrived here in West Lafayette, Indiana, you needed to see your offense playing better. You wanted to see your running backs getting on the board and just moving the ball fast. What did you see all day here today?
I thought we started, much better in this game. This is a place where historically we hadn't played well in a environment like this where it's kind of rainy and dreary. We obviously have a big game next week. We all know that. But I thought we played, hard early on. Certainly had the fumble on a 1-yard line. Could have almost put it away early on. We didn't. We kept fighting. Defense did a nice job on the 1-yard line, getting that stop at the end of the half. Right. But I thought we ran the ball better, and being down a couple guys, and then and then Chip was out of the game, this guy right here stepped up in a big way, and so it was much better.
What do you have to say about the depth at wide receiver, which was really on display today, and as well as your defense, which also played very tough?
Yeah, I mean, we won the line of scrimmage. I thought we got our hands on balls. And, Jim and the staff did a great job, but the players put it on the field today on defense. But like you said, Marvin certainly in the one-on-one situations, Julian in those situations. Right. Xavier Johnson stepped up in a big way, and it was good to see Carnell and Brandon get a few catches down the stretch. Excellent.
You mentioned this guy next to you. Let's talk to him, Coach. Thank you so much for hanging out right here. Dallan, when you woke up this morning, did you think you'd have 11 carries for 76 yards and a touchdown?
Coach, my coaches told me, stay ready because we're banged up this week at the position. So I just stayed ready and made everything of my opportunity.
When Chip Trainum went down in the second quarter, there was another big back on your offense that you guys expected to be there. What sort of light goes off on your head? What kind of responsibility you think goes a little bit higher or stronger for you to deliver something?
Just keep, our room. I feel like we have one of the best rooms in the country, if not the best. So, if one guy goes down, we got another one ready to go. And whoever we put out on the field represents that room. So that's our mentality.
With a game like this today where you all had to prove on the road in this place, which seems to be a trap game for some people, what do you prove to yourself today, and then how do you look forward to Penn State next week where you got to have it all clicking when you get to that game?
Coach told us start fast. I felt like we did that today on offense, and once we start fast, we were clicking, and that's going to be important for next week as well.
All right. Congrats on the win today, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
Andrew?
All right, Lewis, thank you. Dallan Hayden, 11 for 75 yards and a touchdown. They needed him today, Kyle.
They did, and he talked about it. The coaches told him all week, we're banged up, stay ready, and you love when you see a kid take advantage of an opportunity. It'd be very easy for him, a guy who played last year, to hold a grudge and be like, I should be out there playing. Why am I not out there playing? But he continues to work in practice. He gets the opportunity today, and he makes the most of it.
As they move on to get Penn State next week. Kyle, it's been fun, man. Thank you. Currently on NBC and here in Peacock, the 5-1 Maryland Terrapins hosting the Fighting Illini of Illinois later tonight. USC Notre Dame, the Trojans heading to South Bend to battle the Fighting Irish in primetime. Here comes Saturday night, presented by Discover. For Lewis Johnson and Kyle Rudolph and our entire crew, I'm Andrew Siciliano. Final score here, 41-7. Ohio State over Purdue. The Buckeyes check the box, remain undefeated. Thank you for watching Big Ten Saturday on Peacock, presented by